Good evening, good evening. I hope everyone is well. How was your weekend? How did your teams get on? Over in England, we were quite fortunate. There was no football on Sunday, so nothing of any interest has happened whatsoever, and we can conveniently forget that it ever happened. So let's do a couple of bits of admin to start before what is going to be largely an admin-heavy stream. We have just finished the first season in Finland, where we finished 4th against all odds and qualified for Europe, which we won't get to take part in for the best part of 6 to 7 months. That means today we're going to have a review over the squads, try and see who played well, who didn't, plan for our season coming up and our transfers. However, it is possibly going to be a little bit of a shorter stream than normal. I don't know how much this is caught by the microphone, but I'm feeling a little hoarse at the moment. I can feel my glands slowly swelling and expanding and applying pressure every time I attempt to swallow. So I have a feeling the voice might go a little bit early this evening. But I enjoy being here with you guys. I enjoy streaming. I enjoy chatting, and I wanted to make sure we could spend a little bit of time together. So I hope that everything's going to be cool and we can get through at least a reasonable amount tonight. So let's say hello to everyone. Let's do a little recap. Firstly, I'd like to say a huge hello and thank you to people who might not actually be in this evening. So Arian7, Boy Lost D, Jan275, Lord Louis, Addy Blades, all followed in the last couple of days. If you're in, thank you very much. If you're watching this back on the VOD, thank you very much. If you never see this at all, thank you very much. And also to Shower Lender, who subscribed earlier on today. Very, very much appreciated. Now we've got a lot of usual candidates in today. We've got Levi. We always have Levi. We've got RJ. We've got FMGNG. We've got DM Basis. We've got Crudmo. I feel like I've already missed someone disgracefully of me. We have Adam on the ball. We have Johnny Trotter in. We have Will over on YouTube. I'll get to your questions in a couple of moments, Will. And the same for the Kvez, who's over on YouTube too as well. I did see your question, but we will just get to it in a couple of moments. I've seen a couple more come in just right as we started as well. Chris Norton Walker's in. The Guja is in. My word, there's Guja. How are you, sir? Tatsugiri is in. Hung Damin is in as well. Pixelated Suits, the medical cars in. Alex Chal is in over on YouTube as well. From Thessaloniki, Yashu Alex, Tikanis. And that is the extent of my Greek. Despite my heritage, I am a disgrace to my Greek family, I am sad to say. So let's get on to a couple of those questions that are currently there, and then we'll move straight on to the first round of Guess the Player redeemed by Ease Off Tackles. I didn't say hello to Ease Off Tackles. Ease Off Tackles, I do apologise. Oh, and you've also just chat to say exactly that. I do apologise so much. So JHK, Vez, you said, you asked whether you were speaking to Will. Do you have all the division tier for those nations, as in all the leagues from the top 6 nations? That is indeed the estimate. So Will is currently having some problems with the processing speed, trying to run things on full detail. There aren't any hidden special Thank you so much for the subscription, Nevsky142, and Pyranikos coming in with the follow as well. Really appreciated. So I'm sure there was a... So JHK, you did ask, is Play Your Stats Right something new? Technically, it's not something new. It's been there for the last couple of weeks, but no one's redeemed it. So what we might do is depending on how we feel towards the end of the evening, once the other games have been used up, I might do a sneak preview of it and let's see whether it's something that people want to play. It's essentially a mix between Top Trumps and Play Your Cards Right. That is all very confusing and might be shock horror coming from me. Just a little bit too contrived. But yes, so Will is having some posting speed. I'm afraid there aren't any like hidden settings there. Once you do play with full detail, it will take a little bit more time, but it shouldn't take a couple of minutes per day. Now, if you've got a lower end machine, or especially with a CPU, Football Manager is a very CPU heavy game rather than, say, the graphics card. So if you've got some troubles there, FMGNG, you absolute diamond. A subscription to Cultured Left Foot. Cultured Left Foot, if you're in this evening, welcome along. If you're not and you're now going to just check out the VOD because you've been given a subscription, hey dude, I hope you're doing well. So, yeah, with the CPU, it can be very intensive. There are ways that you can look at what processes are going on, but you're going to need to do quite a bit of research into that. I'm not the greatest expert with that, I'm afraid to say. So yes, RG, it is a little bit deep voice. I was hoping it wasn't too noticeable. So Nevsky says hello. Hope you're okay. I'm doing good, Nevsky. I hope you're doing well. Crudmo says you do sound phlegmy, dude. Don't overdo it, man. I am aware. I've checked my calendar for the next couple of days. The meetings I've got to be in, I don't necessarily have to speak too much. So ultimately, I don't need to. I can probably get away with it, and it might even help me get through the next couple of days if I can just conveniently not have to speak because I lost my voice tonight. That's the hope. Still is in over on YouTube. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Nevsky, I love your content. I'm watching on YouTube, but just needed to sub. Appreciate it so much, man. And Danny says, best channel on Twitch. Love it. Evening, Monsterman. You are far, far too kind. And Yonsu is in. Yonsu is in over on YouTube. How are you, Yonsu? How's your weekend? Right, let's go and play around and guess the player. So for those of you who are new to the stream or haven't been around when we've done one of these, the rules are really, really simple. You're going to see a snapshot of a player's profile in Football Manager 24. That means that the player will be at the club they're at in the default database at the start of the game. So it's potential that they've moved on since, just to be aware. You will see each part of their profile one after the other. You're going to see their positions, you're going to see their attribute polygon, you're going to see their scout report, you're going to see their attributes and traits, and then you're going to see their career history. Your job is to guess as soon as you possibly can. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. Last week, we had a 5-way tie. Five different players all getting 5 points over the course of the week. Absolutely incredible stuff. In fact, we played 16 games over the course of the week. We had 13 different winners and 2 bonus points going out. So just shout out. Hopefully, maybe you'll get something. So do you need any referee mate payments before I go? Kwan, good evening. I'm glad you managed to pop in, even if it is only for a brief time. Thankfully, tonight's going to be quite admin heavy, so we won't need any briberies sent out. We probably won't be playing any games as much. So we had RJ has already guessed Federico Di Marco. That is his standard guess at the beginning. Let's get to the first part of the profile, and you'll kind of get the hang of it if you're not sure so far. So we start off, we know we've got an advance forward. We've got a guess for Barry Venison. Gizmo Bob says, thought it was Barry White. I mean, Gizmo Bob, you are my first, my last, my everything. And then Crudmo has followed through with a guess of Barry Venison. Barry Venison would be quite fun, wouldn't it? And ACAB is in, good evening, has also gone for Federico Di Marco, hoping that RJ hadn't guessed it first to try and sneak in as soon as he possibly could. So Am says, great shout, late contender for a player with animals in their names. Indeed, last Friday, was that Saturday? Who knows? I have no concept of time whatsoever. We were talking about players with animals in their names. That was one of our only connect round clues. Barry Venison would be a great one. So Sander Berger, someone's guess. Harry Kane, Lautaro Martinez, some fantastic guesses coming in. Johnson says that his weekend was lovely. Was at Helsinki watching the first big dart exhibition in Finland in about 20 years. Tatsugiri, thank you so much for the Prime subscription. You're a star. So yeah, first big dart exhibition in Finland in about 20 years. A crowd of 4,000 people. That's incredible. I hope you enjoyed it. So more guests we've got coming in. Hugo Duro, Vlahovic again, Gyökeres, Harry Maguire, Lautaro Martinez. They are some fantastic suggestions. It is none of those, I'm afraid to say, but I think you guys are along the right line. It's an advanced forward. It's somebody who's definitely more of a goal scorer than say a facilitator like we've had in a couple of previous ones. We've got a guest coming in for Savo Milosevic, a wonderful reference. Tatsugiri's gone for Bowen. I'm assuming that's Jared Bowen and not what was What's the bullseye Bowen? Jim Bowen. Jim Bowen would have been a fantastic guess as well. So is it Scott McTominay, says Cockhook Smelt? Now, I love that thought because Scott McTominay is kind of more of a striker nowadays than he is. I know he plays in midfield, but it feels like his best contributions are scoring. So is it Osimhen or Kai Havertz? Danza, by the way, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Hugo Duro, Young Domin says again, it's not Hugo Duro still, I'm afraid, dude. I was going to say Luke Nillis, but he was more of a poacher. Oh, the Luke Nillis, what could have been? What could have been? So we've got Griezmann, we've got Lukaku being guest, and Jim fucking Bowen. It's got to be Jim fucking Bowen. I'm going to add Jim Bowen into FM for the next episode. That'd be amazing. Nicolo Trisoldi. Interesting guess from Johnson. Mikel Antonio, Alvaro Morata, Salou Sane, and Nicholas Jackson. These are all amazing guesses. Now I'm going to move on to the next one because it's kind of going to give you a little bit more of a clue of where we might be looking at. Giuseppe Signori. Giuseppe Signori was a forward left back in the old Championship managers. Wasn't an attacking midfielder forward left. He had to be out on the left. He was a forward left. Oh, those memories were great. And so people have picked up that it's Serie A with a Grave accent over the E, and so we've got people guessing Gabigol, Barbosa, Lucas Moura, Gabigol, Hulk, Giacomo Raspadori, Hulk again, Pedro Dybala. I can tell you, there is a correct guess, and today's winner is Tatsugiri. It is indeed Hulk. It felt only appropriate to start the episode with someone from the Copa Libertadores last weekend. Unfortunately, I thought that most of the Botafogo players were perhaps a bit too obscure, but everyone knows Hulk. Everyone knows the legend that is Hulk. Incredible player. You just, all you've got to do is you feed him and he will score. You stay well away, though, because, you won't like him when he's angry. Hulk, what a baller, says Pixelated Suits. It is indeed. I missed the maybe past his best bit. That was the big clue. That was indeed. Well done, Tatsugiri, off the board, nice and early. 3 points to start off the stream. Well done. So let's see. What did I miss any other chats whilst this was going on? Obviously, focus there. No, so we had Johnson back there last. That's cool. Hulk, it was a bowler. Hussein Bagoanazina over on YouTube. I apologise for pronunciation of your name. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Lovely to see you. I hope you're doing well. Our Hulk Brazilian Fury is here. It is indeed. We had to have a little bit. No Hulk emote available. Pity. We need a Hulk emote. I've already apparently used up my allocation of emotes. I think there's weird things. I really need to understand what I'm doing more. That's for sure. I think you should feed all your players, otherwise they might not be fully match fit. That is fair, Cocky Smelch. Hung them in, I got trolled. I'm sorry. Ravi Alfonso, thank you very much for the follow. Thickest thigh in Brazil. That is one hell of a statement. It's probably true. Hungdamin thought the league was Italian Serie A. Yeah, you need to keep an eye out for that Grave accent over the E. Will says, I'm playing in Serie B and I've got the top 3 leagues for Spain, England, Italy, Germany, and the top 2 for France, Netherlands, Portugal. Sorry for the slow reply, I had to disappear. No, I think JXK is helping you, but it's going to have a look at your CPU settings, see if there's a way that you can maybe optimize that. There's not necessarily much more you can do other than maybe take the detail level off on a couple of the leagues that you're not necessarily going to pay much attention to. So Cockhook's Mouse only joined recently. Hope you get better soon. Bless you. Thank you very much. We'll be fine. Hulk is a legend. He is indeed. Twitch needs to have a Hulk one centrally. Absolutely. So Quadmo says thickest thighs anywhere. Who would win Hulk's winning the thickest thighs in football competition, but who runs him close? I mean, so you've got Jack Grealish is king of the calves, but who are the other thigh boys? Mariehamn needs a Hulk. We have a Hulk. Our Hulk is a man named Mohamed Tehi Olawale. The man, the myth, the legend who catapulted us to a top 4 finish. What an absolute legend. And we're going to have a look at all of these guys in a little bit more detail. Going to clear out the squad planner, work out what on earth we're going to be doing for the next season coming up. So Benicaj is in. Good evening. How are you, Benicaj? Doing a Moneyball save inspired by you, Big Bro, says Ravi Alfonso. Fabulous. How are you getting on with it? A pixelated suit suggests Ronaldo Nazario in the thigh team. Number of leagues and detail level is important, says Kvers. So lowering that is one way to go. Pick the same detail level for everything so your stats are comparable. Roberto Carlos. Did Roberto Carlos have big thighs? Let's just. Actually, can I do this? Oh my word, he did have some meaty thighs. Let's head on over here and see if it's managed to pick up the right bit. They are some meaty thighs on Roberto Carlos, let's be fair. We've only just started, but this has already gone completely off trail, and it's amazing. So who runs Hulk close? David Unsworth. His name was literally Rhino. It's David Unsworth thighs. My search history is going to be filled with me looking up footballers' thighs, which is probably going to be, actually, to be honest, my algorithm with all searches and things are a bit weird. He does pale in comparison to both Bobby C and Hulk, I'm afraid, from the past, but Seedorf has a hefty pair of thighs. Seedorf thighs. What are we looking at there? They are some thighs. They are some thighs. No point. Just Benny for short will work. No worries, my dude. Thank you. On the admin agenda, it'll be low and late, but please change Olawale's number for next season. Absolutely not, Adam. I am sticking with number 2 has worked out magically for him. We can't risk changing that. He is the next Jordan Ayew. So I'm doing good, Benny. I'm a little bit hoarse. It's probably going to be a bit of a shorter stream today because the glands are definitely starting to tickle. But otherwise good. We've got the Cleveland Browns playing tonight. So hopefully I'll be able to squeeze in a nap, watch the Browns, finish off the playing part of the next video, and everything's going to suddenly magically heal. That's the hope. We have to check Olawale's files. Do you think that there's enough pictures out there of Mohamed, Tehi, Olawale? Let's have a look there. He's got some pretty underwhelming thighs, disappointingly. Disappointing thigh game. I think we might have to sell him with thighs like that. He's a goner now, I'm afraid. I'll bring down the tone of chat and suggest Alex Morgan. Now, it would be sexist of me not to search. Now that we've been looking at everyone else's thighs, if I was just to say we won't look at hers because there we go. That's a proper photo, or is it? Our Facebook on these, their links are always really, really poor quality. They are some pretty big slabs of thighs there. Look at them. This is truly a coach. This is the content we're here for, yeah. Seedorf was not bad in that manner. You're at Hammarby in season 2 now, Rafi. Fantastic. Doing good. How did you get on in the first season? By the way, I signed a goalkeeper from Finland for Bundesliga Sverige, and he actually did well. Go Sauna. Fantastic. But who was the keeper? Is there some hints that we should be looking out for? Guess the thighs next game on the channel. Quite possibly. How about a bit of Josie Altidore? Make sure that we have the word thighs in there. Make sure we do. We can see them. He's not bad. He's probably about a 6 on the thigh scale, I think, so far. Seedorf was an absolute tank. He really is. Jim Papas mentions Yorkas Setoridis, the player that erased Thierry Henry at Euro 2004. Yorkas Setoridis is one of my favourite players of all times, Milinek. I hope you're doing well. Lovely to see you in. His move to Atletico Madrid was always a great thing to see. He doesn't do too well on the thigh front, unfortunately. I mean, he's got some good muscle definition there, to be fair, but they've not quite got the girth. The thigh girth is what we need, that's for sure. Always would be one of my favourite signings at right back in FM. Like, the pickings of Greek players, they've always been a little bit slim in FM. They've never really been given the respect they deserve. Karisteas never truly got a bump that he should have done for his part in the 2004 glory. Karagounis was always painfully inconsistent. We've started to see some good players, though, coming through now. I mean, Konstantelios has been incredible. Has been absolutely incredible for us this year. Wilfred Boney got some thighs on him. There's a good shout. There is a good shout. Wilfred Boney. Thighs. Like, the fact that there is a photo just of his thigh, someone has decided that they need to make sure that is probably, he might be a winner right now. He might be the winner. Wilfred is not bony. That is true. That is true. I'm a little bit hoarse. Are we doing Equestrian Manager 24 today? That is quite possibly. I mean, I think I will be changed there. So it was either Altidore had big thighs or he was the walking Uncle Richard Jr. skip. Gel body, up top, rock solid. Didn't work on his legs too much, can't remember which. That's fair. Olawale needs to go to the gym this winter. He does indeed. Need to change to an art stream rather than FM. Oh god, yeah, that'd be horrendous. So R2 Hakala in FM23. Let's remember that name. Whilst you guys all look at Wilfred Boney's thighs, I'm going to make sure that R2 Hakala is on my FM. Check McTominay's thighs. McTominay thigh. How's McTominay doing? I mean, that's unfortunate. The rest have been whilst they've been running, so they look a lot like they're you can see them flexing. Whereas here, yeah, no, I'm afraid McTominay doesn't quite do it out. So champions in season 1, says Ravi Alfonso. Fantastic. Signed Michael Badu because he had some crazy data. Liking the money ball as of now. Fantastic. Akin Fenwa surely has some good thighs. He surely does. Well, does he actually? I mean, the problem with Akin Fenwa is he is such a unit that his thighs just look kind of normal by comparison. So Danzera, Roberto Carlos was one of the first select sections. We've already had a little bit of a pervert at Bobby C's thighs. Only Zacharakis made some success, says Jim. Indeed, that is true. That is true. Championship Manager 102, save for the Super Greeks. That would be fun, wouldn't it? That would be cool. Okay, so Benny, to be fair, Platter is short, so he's going to have a few tanks for thighs just to keep placing. Exactly. Evening, Musterman, am I well? FMFC, good evening, sir. You have joined at a fabulous, fabulous time. We're less than half an hour in, and we are looking at thighs. Men's thighs and women's thighs. We've had a bit of a gawk at Alex Morgan's thighs as well. I can't remember how to... Oh, we played a round of Guess the Player. The player was Hulk, and so we've ended up on a thigh detour. McGinn's arse. We need to save arses, I think, for another stream. And for me, having everything set up in incognito mode, because if I'm starting to look up everyone's arse on my Google, I'm really worried. Presumably, Xherdan Shaqiri has some thigh action. You would think so, wouldn't he? Shaqiri. There we go. Look at that. Those are some thighs, eh? It's almost like he knew that these pictures were going to be taken. They are well defined. Funny part is all our search history today. Indeed. Screen isn't big enough. I appreciate that might be the case. Unfortunately, it is at 1600 by 900 for this. I am. You just need to see enough of the thigh. You need to be aware. You can see that lovely little divot there. That's a nice strong. Akin Fenwa looking like Johnny Bravo. Indeed he does, man. Rah. Check Adama Traore. How on earth have we not mentioned Adama Traore at this point? Adama Traore is, of course. There we go. There's some nice bigger picture for you all. I think Adama Traore might be the winner. I think though, we should probably at some point get on and have a look at the players at hand, shall we? As I just pop him onto a short list so that I remember he exists. We can have a look at Pakalo a little bit later. So, where were we? Right, Akinfen was one of your favourite footballers. A fine choice there. What about Podolski? Podolski's a good one. We'll have... I'll save some thighs for my personal time. It's a thigh mission. His thighs don't lie, says Cockhook's Mouth. Or thigh de quest. I like Shaqiri is the man in the box His body frame is literally a rectangle. I was referring to your screen not being big enough to show McGinn's arse. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. And Jay Betts also says Adama Traore's thighs. A fine choice. I think they are strong thighs. Oh, right, we have the game open. We do. We should. I'm pretty bad at actually playing the game as it is. So let's get back on track for a little bit before everything gives out and we get overload of thighs. And so we finished in 4th, and we can see, generally speaking, at a very, very high level, we scored a reasonable amount of goals. We were, fifth highest scorers. We had, by the end of the season, we were around the 5th best defence as well. So possibly, arguably, a little bit of, we definitely finished above where we deserved to over the course of the season. I think that we benefited a lot from form at the right moment. But we've got a lot that we can build on here. We were only 2 points off 2nd place, which is incredible. If we have a look at let's look at the team overview stuff. So most points per game, that's what we think. Yeah. So joint 4th in goals, 7 goals from corners. That's a reasonably healthy amount. We created a plenty of shooting chances, which is great. Shots against. We the 2nd best team for restricting shots against us. That's pretty pleasing. Last suggestion, Levi Garcia, the AAK monster. Levi Garcia is brilliant in this game as well. He's one of those players that could have been mentioned in a number of the Moneyball Clinic videos. He's always just missed out because of his injury proneness. But Levi Garcia, fantastic player. So 36, 24, 36 equals Sir Mix-a-Lot's preferences. 36, 36, 36 are Shaqiri's body measurements. That's a shame if Shaqiri's just a little bit too girthy for Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby likes back, but not that much. He's going to press continue about Wednesday. Yes, that is quite possible. So have I missed something? The continue button indeed. Yeah, there's no continue button today. That's almost certain. David Harker is in. Good evening. How's it going? What have I missed so far? We have spent a long time talking about various thighs of different footballers. Men and women, we're equal opportunity thigh enjoyers over here. And now we're just starting to have a look at what the season was like. We're going to review over it, see what we can learn and how that's going to shape our planning for the season coming up. It's a very, very admin heavy stream tonight. And you might be able to hear that my voice is a little hoarse. So it might not be the longest of streams, just for fair warning ahead of time. So Quadman just says thighs. Thighs galore, indeed. Can you look at penalties against? We will be getting to penalties against ACAB, and I will be raging the moment I see it. Is the defence not the problem, says RJ? Well, it looks like, I think towards the end of the season, our defence was getting a lot better. I think as we started to control games a little bit more, that kind of leveled out, and yeah, it seems that we're not doing too badly. Il's badge is crazy cool. It is pixelated suits. It is a lynx, because Ilves is Finnish for lynx. There you go. So you missed a lot of thighs, indeed. It's very raw. It is very raw. Have you looked at the FA Cup draw, asks Chris Norton Walker? I haven't, because isn't it happening like now? I thought it was like an 8 o'clock. What time was the FA Cup draw? I thought it was 8, but I might be wrong. Crabbo says English football does not exist. We got Villa, says Benny. You're a West Ham fan, aren't you, Benny? I seem to recall. It just happened, yep. So no, I haven't looked at the FA Cup draw because I'm streaming, Chris. West Ham, yeah. So West Ham, it's a claret and blue derby. Oh, why do we always seem to get like Premier League or Championship teams in our first round? I'd like a round where we get, like Truro at Villa Park. That would be nice. That would be nice, and we can rest all our players and still win like 7-0. So in terms of pass completion, we're a relatively direct team, so 6 seems to make sense. Possession, again, that kind of makes sense. So we won a decent amount of our tackles, a decent number, 588, joint second. 76% though doesn't appear to be that noticeable, and we're not the most dribbly of teams. Clean sheets, we ended up 3rd. As said, yeah, so it's not 5th in goals conceded, we're a joint 4th, which is cool. So actually, from a high-level viewpoint, not too bad. When it comes to XG, we finally started turning around. At the beginning of the season, we were behind on our goal-scoring exploits. We were creating chances but not scoring. the second half of the season. Actually, overall, we can be pretty happy with that. Nothing majorly to worry about in that terms. We won 3 penalties, which is cool. And we conceded 5. Only 5 in the league, which isn't the worst. Whoa. Why did Truro have to be the minnows put to the slaughter? Sorry, Adam. I'm just trying to think of the first like random non-league team that came to my head. I do apologize. Not like there's loads of non-league teams local to me. I could have thought of them, but they just didn't naturally come my way. So yeah, we can see that 5 penalties. We had the joint 3rd worst penalties conceded. But where was the attacking stuff? This is what I want to see. I want to see. So goals from set pieces, we got 7 from corners. That's the 3rd best. That's 7 in 29 games, 1 every 4. That's pretty reasonable. I'm okay with that. Direct free kicks, we got none. We did take a lot, so maybe we need to look at set piece takers potentially. Indirect free kicks 4. So that's okay. 11 set piece goals from crosses. That's okay. We might need someone that can do well from long shots. I think that looks like it could be a short point. We were the most creative team out there. That's really, really encouraging. And so I think Dahlstrom played a huge part in that. Our wing-backs played a huge part in that. And what's our cross completion? Pretty middle of the pack there. Pretty middle of the pack. That's okay. Yeah, we didn't do too much in terms of dribbles. In terms of possession loss, we did give it away a lot. That's kind of what we expected to say. We play quite direct and quite high tempo. And final third pass. So we finished around where we are. It's just a case of maybe getting a little bit more of everything when we go into next season. Which unfortunately is a bit of a shame. It's much nicer to look at one thing and say, right, we need to fix that one thing. So defensively, joint 4th best. XG against, the 2nd best XG against. So we spoke about the keeper quite a bit last season. Ulrikanen was brilliant at saving penalties, not necessarily so good at saving shots. So that is something to look at, and we'll take a look at that goalkeeper we've shortlisted as well. See if maybe that could be our solution. So Fairs, I like Villa, says Benny. Mate, we're West Ham though. If you're out of form with a team you want to play. Likewise, that's the problem. Maybe we'll find a way to both lose somehow. Evertonian in the chat. You'll just bore everyone to death. We never beat you lot in the league. It's a West Ham or Everton off. No, but we are the only team to allow Southampton a win and a clean sheet. So Adam has redeemed only Connect. We'll do that after the break if that's all right with you, Adam. That should be about 20 minutes or so. Played with DeMarco is the guess already from RJ. For whenever. Marvellous. FMFC, really like how you review highlights for missed chances, etc. to refine instructions and tactics. I've learned loads from this. Thanks for sharing. No worries at all, FMFC. We're going to probably end up looking at some highlights as well during the course of this stream. There is certainly, I've got some assumptions coming into this. I haven't looked at anything off stream, but I do feel like we have a real issue with our attacking midfielder and working out how to maximize them. So I'm going to want to look actually in the game at highlights to see if we can find something that might be there that hints to what we need to change or maybe what we're going to look at. So corner goals, we're good at defending corners. Fine defending direct free kicks. Not particularly good at with our indirect free kicks. That's Daniel Sherland, but six goals conceded from set pieces in total. Seven goals conceded from set pieces isn't too bad. We are still okay. That's good news. This is really good news. Okay, so we've conceded 342 fouls, which sounds bad, but when we looked at this at the halfway point of the season, we had more than 50% more than the second team. So that's come down. The gap between us and Hacker in second is just 15 fouls. That is less than 5% difference there. We have definitely improved that in the second half of the season, and that probably again comes about as a result of us having a little bit more possession. So our tackle win rate is middle of the pack. That's something I think we do need to address, and probably linked a little bit to the fouls. We do need to be a little bit better there. Blocks, not making many blocks. Clearances, we are making clearances. interceptions. We're middle of the pack, so it seems that we're not particularly good at getting out to the edge of the to the edge of the area, and closing players down. And we did see that. We did change to having a stopper in our back three to try and encourage them to step up a little bit more. But we might want to potentially add step up a little bit more to see if that helps us in that regard. Move down here. So we're good at winning back possession. We don't win back in possession as much as we give it away, which is something to be wary of. We've seen penalties. We've done really good at stopping shots generally. Shots on target against. Teams do have a lot of ball. We don't press them high, so that kind of makes sense. We don't press high, but we've got the 4th best opter apparently. Interesting. We do a decent job there. So what's our header win rate according to the league? We're one of the better teams aerially as well, 51%, which I think is something we want to lean into a little bit more as well. And we have a rubbish attendance, just 1,129 on average, 42% of our capacity. We can definitely pick that up. So Truro are just buzzing to be back playing their home games in Cornwall. Fair enough. Truro probably be tougher than West Ham. We're god awful. Okay, interesting. Some real West Ham hate coming. It has been difficult. I mean, you did get a big win the other week. I know that after the United game, the Arsenal game at the weekend, it probably feels a little bit sore. So that 3-minute period between was it 3-0 and you scoring 2 goals? That bit was good at least. Just cling on to those 2 minutes. Just think once you promote from Sean Dyche ball, you'll be into your Steve Bruce era. It's fair. Just need a takeover, new manager and new playing squad. Then we'll be fine. That's all you need. Where's the ease off fouls instructions? Well, we could indeed. What is it called? Who's ever played the stay on feet? Stay on feet. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Players are already far too passive defensively, I tend to find. Benny, Everton aren't a bad side, just need to work on clearances, passing, accuracy, crosses, blocking shots, corners, other set pieces, moving the ball through the midfield, running off the ball, controlling the tempo, offsides, awareness, and finishing. Indeed. So there's no clear weakness, at least compared to the league. Maybe individually, yes. I have a feeling we may find a couple of things that we want to identify individually. So absolutely, but we put in the hard yards, says Crudmo about Everton. Johnny says Cups has 16 home games, VPS only 13. Yes, so Johnny, when the league split in 2, depending on where you finished in the league to begin with, that indicates how many home games and away games you have in the split because it's uneven teams. So I guess that there's an element there where Cups, because they had games in the split and they were near the top, so they got 3 home games and they got their playoff games at home. Indeed, yeah. So they had at least one, I guess, of the quarterfinals. And then when they got through to the finals against us, and that was 2 legs, so one of them was home, one of them away. Does seem crazy, doesn't it? Loppy is clueless, to be honest. Poor old Lopetegui. He's not had a good time of it in England, has he? First the Wolves job, now the West Ham one. Doesn't quite seem to be going well. Even Man United couldn't take losing to us. Ten Hag had to go for that. That's fair. Cups must have played all their playoff games at home, yeah. Clayton Chandler 14, thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're doing well. If you, no obligation whatsoever to chat, but if you want to, let us know who you support. Let us know who you're playing with in FM at the moment. If you are playing, we'd love to hear from you. FM console is in. Good evening, Bish Bosh. Good evening, sire. Bosh indeed. It's good evening. How are you, sir? I hope you're doing well. How was the feedback from yesterday's pancakes that you didn't get to eat? Did we get the budget? Tatsugiri, we did get the budget. The budget is nothing, and we've got 500 euros per week over. But we've got a load of players who are going to be leaving very, very soon, in about a week and a half's time. So what I want to do here is clear out the Going to clear out all the positions. We're going to go through the squad, and we're going to build this up basically from scratch. We're going to look at which of our youth players are going to be part of our first team plans next season, work out which areas we need to address in the transfer window, and kind of get an idea of what kind of stats we're looking at. So we're going to literally build it from scratch. There we go. So I support Philadelphia as well. We're just as bad, even worse than West Ham, to be honest. That's tough. That's tough. Zero, less than zero indeed. So spending spree incoming. So we should be able. I'm anticipating that a lot of the other teams in the league are going to be in a similar situation, which means quite a few players are going to be released. We've got a full season's worth of data to be able to work out which of those free transfers might be worth targeting. That's the hope, at least. Philly's modus operandi: develop talent and sell them for profit. Buy no one for more than $1.5 to $2 million max. That seems like a reasonably smart approach, to be fair. So what positions are you looking to sign somebody for? Asked Johnson. That's what we're doing tonight. We're looking through the squad, and we're going to work out where our areas of need are and what we need, what we're hoping to target in the transfer window. Console says, I'm a pancake master. I have my own electric skillet for them. I can bring it along to FM Now that sounds like a plan. Choose the youth we'll make songs for. Well, this is also the thing, RJ, is I'll be honest, last week, because we had the mid-transfer window and I was expecting us to move players on, we didn't have much luck with that. I was a little bit reticent to start doing songs for players that maybe don't have much of a future for us. But we should be able to identify which of these guys, now we've got a season behind us, we could probably work out which of these guys we hope to have as legends, and maybe get our songs sorted out as well. So Crudmo wants some chocolate pancakes, a fine choice. Smart financially maybe, means we get no results on the pitch. But no relegation, Benny. It's fine. There's no stakes to worry about. Just exist and take the money that comes over the course of it. Football is a business, not a sport, right? So Clayton says, thanks for the welcome. I'm a Newcastle supporter from Australia. My grandparents were born in Gateshead and Wallsend, so I never really had a choice who I'd support. But currently I haven't got a save, actually struggling to find something to do. That's fair enough. So do you have a chance to do you kind of follow along much? I appreciate it's quite late in the evening for you guys. So how far are you the east side of Australia or the west side? Because like the east side, what, you're like 11 hours ahead? So having to watch games at like 3 a.m. in the morning probably isn't fun. Crudmo says depends. Sorry, FM Console says depends. Do you want Nutella, bananas, strawberries, white chocolate? You need to be more specific. This man is a pancake connoisseur, clearly. Philadelphia Union, yes, love Kai Wagner, although it's a shame his real breakthrough came after he left us, was a real steal by use. So I will keep up with chat as much as I possibly can. Mark Nordquist, his contract is about to expire. He's a coach for an under-20 side that barely has any players, and he's a rubbish goalkeeper that never played for us. So we're not going to be renewing his contract, that's fine. Matthias Riikonen was our starter. He played 41 games. He conceded 51 goals, which actually isn't that bad on the balance of things. He saved a number of penalties. We do have him under contract for another year and on a very, very friendly wage at €275, but he's not the greatest of performers. He plays long passes. He does that quite well, which is cool. He's not particularly good at sweeping up as with possession one. He concedes 0.28 more than expected. Now that's actually quite incredible. If we consider that he must have saved like 3 penalties this season, so that alone is 2.4 xg prevented, and yet from all the other normal shots he's conceded so many that he's basically wasted all of that positivity to be at minus 0.28 per game. He is not a good shot stopper. He does have a high guide value. I think we're still looking to sell him if we can. €240,000 would be an incredible amount of money for us. Patrick Reitinen. I've liked Patrick Reitinen this season. I think it was Johnson who was saying that he was kind of on the peripheries of the international squad. And I get it completely. He's winning 70% of his tackles, 74% of his headers. He's really active in pressuring and possession one. He's not particularly safe on the ball. That's fine. We're playing quite direct. He's come up with some big goals. I'm very happy with Whiten and who we've got for another season at least. We might see if we generate some money, we might have a chance to extend him. Maybe not. We'll see how things go. There was a bid earlier on from Coventry that was insulting, but we might see what happens. I'd love to keep him. So let's just have a look. That's the Johnny Trotter sharing there, the thingy, what's it? The FM save generator, which is a fantastic idea. Right, so where have I missed up to? The star player we will get for free if you prefer. Exactly. Need to heal the little horse before the songs are back. We do indeed. So Benny's talking about Kai Wagner here. He had like 18 assists for us one season. Mental steal. Just because there's no relegation doesn't mean I want to travel 20 times a year to watch us be shit. That's fair. FM does dinner plate proper, thick, fluffy American pancakes too, so they're the size of medium pizzas. That does sound good. Indeed. Cockesmouth says, to be fair, we're a third division team, so no way we could hang on for him for longer than 6 more months. That's fair. Just Crudmo just wants chocolate on his pancakes. Lots and lots of chocolate. And Clayton, I'm from Sydney. Okay, so I'm not very good with my geography, I'm afraid. So is that west or east? I genuinely don't know. Benny says he's a bit in the dusk now, even for us. Think we've seen the best of him in Philly. That's a shame. Jake Vest says, I take no responsibility if you sign Hakala, but he had 80+ save percentage in Bundesliga, drops 5 and positive XG prevented. And of course, even better when I signed him for Finland. That does sound good. We'll see how he's got on. But as I've said, I think we're looking to move on Riikonen if we can get decent money for him. So that he could well be a possibility. Absolutely love where I live. Feel pretty blessed to live in this country. That's good to hear. Riikonen did have 1 assist this season. He did. Did he? Did he now? There's been so many goals for all teams where it's just been the keeper kicking it forwards. Is shot stopping the main purpose of a goalkeeper, though? Asks RJ. With us, yes. Jason is in. Calispero. Jason, how are you? I am doing well. I'm not doing well. I'm a little bit under the weather, but otherwise I'm feeling positive. How are you? How was your weekend? So for some reason I can't see Quadmo's replies. That might be a blessing, to be honest. So Coxmosh says that's sad to hear. He can't be older than 28. This is 27. Kai Wagner is still only 27. All the big cities are southeast of Australia. That's why I was thinking. I know that most of the time I'm on calls with colleagues in Australia, it's southeast, because that means I'm either taking the call at like the start of their day, which will be like 10 p.m, 11 p.m. for me, or the end of their day, which will be like 6 a.m. for me. So all I know about Australian geography is that it's such an awkward time, and I keep on seeming to fuck up my sleeping schedule for it. That's the extent of my knowledge. So Pedro Machado here, he's not been as good in the air. 63% headers one rate, which is a little bit disappointing, to be honest. Okay at tackling. I thought he was going to be our best defender, and it feels like he's been a little bit of a liability. We've ended up moving him into the middle of the defence rather than the right where he was originally, because he wasn't quite engaging enough and seemed to be a little bit of a liability there. But we do have him for 2 more years, and he's on big wages, €550 per week. Doesn't have much sell-on value as well, so I think we're going to be stuck with him for the next season at least. Setting came on loan. He played 19 minutes. We don't have enough data there. Alvanen is gone. Alvanen sadly is gone. He's opting. This is the problem with this squad view. You linger on things and then it does this weird thing. But Alvanen is opting out at the end of his contract. He was on €600 per week. He was, in my opinion, attribute-wise, our worst defender, but he's come up with some really big goals at the end of the season. His header win rate, 77%. Again, pretty average when it comes to tackles won. Again, quite wasteful with the ball. But generally speaking, Alvinen was quite good towards the end of the season. It's a shame we're going to lose him. I really think that we need 2 centre-backs so that Machado can potentially drop to be our backup. So we're like 1 left-footed, 1 right-footed. But let's put this into our squad planner, in fact. So goalkeeper, squad planner, right, squad planner, central. Ajala has been a revelation. So Machado is expensive for 2 more years. He is RJ. He is. So there's this awkward thing where his value just isn't good enough. He's not earning enough that we need to get him off the books. Considering we're going to have a lot of players. We've already got Nordqvist going. We've got Alvinen leaving, incidentally. So that Alvinen means we've suddenly got 100 euros per week in our wage budget immediately once he goes. And we have quite a few others that leave. So we're going to have money at least, which is fine. So it's not that pressing of an issue right now, at least. So Ajala has been brilliant. He has become our right wing back. He played okay in defensive midfield. He was absolutely sensational as a right wing back. So he is now, without doubt. The pizza charts aren't going to be useful that much with how much he's played across all the positions. But he wins his tackles, which is really, really important when you're isolated against the winger. He doesn't win his headers at all. He's 5'6". 13% is pretty shocking, to be fair. But kind of understand it. And with a back 3, he's a little bit higher up, so it's less of a concern. Right. Okay, so we have an ad starting in a few moments. So I'm going to be taking a break as we do. Just a general, for those who are new to the stream, when the ads come, I take a break. I get up, stretch my legs. I'm not going to vape tonight because of my voice. I'm going to take a drink, exactly. Probably go to the toilet and stuff. Recommend you guys all do the same, and I'll see you in about 3 minutes. We're back. Fabulous. So let's just catch up a little bit on chat, and then we'll head into the game of Only Connect, as redeemed by Adam, the wonderful, wonderful Adam on the Break. If you guys, by the way, haven't gone and checked out Adam's YouTube channel, On The Break FM, you definitely should. Only started relatively recently, but some crackers already on there. So do 100% go check it out. So there was some more Australia chat, and I saw that Benny said that Australia is an amazing country, wouldn't want to live there though. And I have to say, I agree with you. As someone who's afraid of spiders, I would never ever want to live in Australia, but it does seem like a lovely, lovely place. Ignoring all the animals trying to kill you. So Crodmo, you have not been banned. I can show that. I think the lovely little weird chat browser extension thing that I have that allows me to see both Twitch and YouTube chat in the same window. It struggles a little bit with long replies to certain things. So for some reason, a couple of your replies that just weren't showing up. It told me that you'd said something, but just not any of the words. Jonsa over on YouTube has said, for a new centre-back, you could have a look if Tony Miettinen has been released. A Rudiger-style centre-back who could have a big future for our national team, should be making the step up to seniors already. Fabulous. Let's have a look and see there for Miettinen. And I will, so guys, please feel free to send out any recommendations that you have. But we are still going to be doing it mainly, almost exclusively. All our transfer targets will come from the director of football, or will come from players that have been scouted by our scouts. That's the way I play. So I certainly welcome the recommendations. Someone like Miettinen here, I assume he looks like he's just been signed by Odd. So that's out of the question. You might need to check in case of guaranteed wage rises in contracts. Ajala's 800 per week could easily become 900. So I can tell you that we only have a few players with wage rises involved. And they are the young players that I signed I gave extensions to back earlier on in the season. So Lundberg, I think, will be going up by about 25 to 50 euros per week. Same for Willie Nunes. And same, I believe, for Michael Pincel. Actually, we can check this out, can't we? Finances. Oh, you can't see this. Let's do Only Connect, and then we'll go and have a look at all those. So, for you guys that don't know how Only Connect works, it's a really, really simple idea. It's based on a UK game show, daytime game show. You're going to see 4 pictures of football players. They might be current, they might be former football players. They all have a connection to one another. You'll see the photos one at a time. You've got to work out the connection. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. Really, really straightforward in that respect. Now, I'm not going to tell you who the players are unless I have a brain fart, which happens occasionally, and I accidentally just say it straight out. That has happened maybe a couple too many times already. So do shout out when you recognise who the player is, and that kind of helps each other to get a little bit of an idea and throw out ideas until someone gets it. So, here is our first clue. Who is this glorious, glorious gentleman? So we have indeed Johnny Trotter, Crodmo have all come in and said Gabby Agbonlahor, and Adam and the medical car and Ravi Alfonso all correctly identified it. And RJ, a Villa player, that is correct. I thought you just said a Vile player, and I was like, okay, yeah, I get that, to be fair. But there we go. So can we think of anything that might connect these guys together at all? So are they all absolute dickhead pundits? The next is Jamie O'Hara and then Joey Barton. That's a fair shout. That is definitely a fair shout. Matt, I will defend Gabby Agbonlahor a little bit because he is quite clearly a bit too thick to understand what he's saying. So that clip of someone tapping Gabby on the shoulder and him looking the wrong way, that is a classic. I think it was Ashley Young against Everton, in fact. It was, yeah, bless him. Players who became pundits, guesses the quiz, a fine guess. They're all wasters who squandered their careers. That's a perhaps fair. He managed to have almost an entirely Premier League career to his defence. He never quite got to the heights that were expected, but, you know, he was dealing with a limited skill set to begin with. So Tatsugiri says, all named after biblical characters. They are not, but it's a good idea. All of them would give it up for Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. That's interesting. Ex-players that got their feelings hurt by Klopp, suggests Jason. It is not that at all. DM Baser says him and Cole Palmer share a single brain cell. So what does YouTube Crodmo think the connection is? I haven't seen the football janitor in. Where is YouTube Crodmo? I can't see him in there right now. I know I appreciate that there is a YouTube Crodmo almost certainly. So here is our next option out there. So guesses that we've got coming in is Premier League all-time leading top scorers. That's a lovely idea. Gabby Agbonlahor is definitely nowhere near the all-time leading top scorers, that's for sure. All have Indian regions in their name, is guessing Cocker Smash, because of Lahore. That is a phenomenal idea. I love that idea. Tatsugiri wonders if they're 3-cap wonders. They're not, I'm afraid, but again, quite good. I don't know how many caps Defoe ended up with, but it does kind of make sense. So people have recognised. I didn't give away that was Jermaine Defoe. People had already guessed Jermaine Defoe. I'm okay with that. Crodmo, the medical car, Johnson over on YouTube as well. So have they all played in Claret and Blue, says Tatsugiri. Let's see. No. I can say with great confidence that at least one player hasn't played in Claret and Blue. Agbonlahor 673rd. That's much higher than I would have thought, to be honest. So have they all been relegated from the Premier League, asks Medical Car. Again, a fair guess. No, unfortunately not. That's not the connection we're looking for, but I can say with confidence that they haven't all. Okay, I'll never get any only connect to Premier League oriented. I'm sorry, RJ. It is indeed very Premier League. We do have a mix every now and then, but yeah, it will be a little bit, unfortunately. No, Nils Pettersson. He's the goat of sub goals. There's a claim. So I won't hear a bad word said against Rangers legend Jermaine Defoe. Do a Belgian league only connect, says Quadmo. We could do perhaps once. So all Scottish connected players, suggests Raviel Alfonso. It isn't, I'm afraid. Jason is stumped. Defoe throws him off completely. This one might, though. This might be the clue you needed. Is it Bart Hoare? No, it's Lorenzo Stalens. Oh, now there is a great mention. What an absolute legend Lorenzo Stalens is. So the medical car is correct. It is indeed Robbie Fowler and his lovely little nose strip. Just, so that he can keep those airways open. So Cockroach Smart says that if you need help with the Regional League buy and only connect, hit me up. I will do indeed. They are strikers, kinda, says RJ. They are strikers. I can tell you with great confidence that they are all strikers, and that probably leads you a little bit. Certainly, what the connection is, it would help a lot for those players to be strikers. Cronmo says they're all cocaine addicts. I couldn't possibly comment. I don't see Andy Gray on here, so I don't know, potentially. Yes, I should say allegedly. I definitely don't have first-hand experience of Andy Gray's issues. This, by the way, this VOD is probably coming down almost immediately after it's finished. Last one is Rooney, I guess, says Cockroach Smoke. It is not Rooney, I can tell you that much. So all of them loved a line of coke. Guessing Eremenko is the last one, says Yonsa. It isn't. But DM Bassist, have they all played with James Milner? Okay, DM Bassist, I'll be completely clear with you. That is not the link. But has Jermaine Defoe played with James Milner? So they might have played on the same England side, would be my guess. Well, Robbie Fowler wouldn't, of course not. Of course he wouldn't. But James Milner has been around for 400 years, so it is possible. At Leeds, when was Robbie Fowler at Leeds? Like, it's possible. Right, so DMB, I'm going to look this up. probably after the stream. And if they have all played with James Milner, there's definitely a bonus point coming out there. Because it might be possible. It might be possible, but that isn't the link. Let's move to the last one. The last one you will definitely get it with. You will definitely get it with. So, Eni Aluko is the last one. It isn't. Have they all played with Walker? Is that a guess of Ian Walker, I'd guess? That's not the link either, I'm afraid. So, we have... It's Kevin Campbell would be the guess for the last one from Jason Thomas. Or a Tottenham player. It is not. It is not. Yeah, Tatsugiri believes that they did play at least. That would be marvellous. RJ has said they scored a hat-trick fast. They did indeed. They didn't just score a hat-trick fast. These are the 4 fastest Premier League hat-tricks. Well done to RJ. Gabby Agbonlahor scored a hat-trick in 7 minutes and 10 seconds against Manchester City. Jermaine Defoe managed it 10 seconds quicker against Wigan in a 9-1 rout. Robbie Fowler scored all the goals in a win over Liverpool in 4 minutes, in a win over Arsenal, in fact, with 4 minutes and 33 seconds. And Sadio Mane with his hat-trick in 2 minutes and 56 against Aston Villa. Well done, sir. You got it absolutely. So we have correctly identified it's Mane. Krubmo says, yeah, that's it. It is indeed. So fastest hat-trick, says Fairs. Unfortunately, a little bit behind there, but yes, you were indeed correct. And you said you don't know Premier League football. Johnny Trotter is calling him out indeed. I don't blame you there. It's all played in the Prem, bonus points. Good try, Tatsugiri. That's unfortunately a bit too obvious. Yes, absolutely, Levi. A round of applause is definitely deserved for RJ. Well done indeed, sir. DMBO, for fuck's sake, that seems so obvious now. I thought it might have been. I thought Robbie Fowler would have been the giveaway, to be honest. But actually, I think someone says Gabby might have been a little bit of throwing you off. You see, Gabby, you don't expect anything like impressive. So I kind of guess that might have been a little bit unfair in that respect. I'll be honest, I couldn't consider it being anything to do with impressive goal scoring with Gabby. Exactly, Adam. Exactly. Gabby was against City indeed, Ravi. Cockersmouth, why am I not in that list? I take much shorter. That's so I've heard. Still nothing on James Hayter. That's true. That was incredible. Jason Thomas says gunslinging hat-trick strikers. So Crudmo is suggesting for the next time, top Germinal bear shot scorers of the 1980s. No. Karagianis is a guest coming out there, so no, he hustled us. He did indeed. What a poker face. A real pro. Totally what threw me. Also, I think Milner and Fowler were together at Leeds, Milner and Gabby at Villa, but I don't think there's a Defoe crossover. That is a shame. So, what is Jermaine Defoe? Because the crossover would have to be England, right? So Jermaine Defoe's last game for England was in 2017, from the looks of things. He didn't play from 2014 to 2017. He was recalled to the England squad in March 2017 for a friendly match against Germany and a qualifying game against Lithuania. He played in the game against Lithuania. And he was he led the team onto the pitch with Bradley Lowery. So that game, England versus Lithuania, 26th of March 2017. Did James Milner play together? Did they actually play on the same pitch at the same time? That's the question. So James Milner was not in the starting lineup for that game. He was not on the bench in that game. But maybe back in 2014. I will look this up properly off stream. It looks like it might well be some bonus points going your way. So maybe England duty indeed. Yeah, Milner and Defoe would have played for England together. Weren't Milner and Defoe both in the 2010 World Cup squad? Crodmo says yes, they did. I'm checking Transfermarkt. You can check how many times a player were teammates. Oh, interesting. I know that you can do some awesome things with Transfermarkt. Transfermarkt, Jermaine Defoe, James Milner. James Milner teammates. Can you search? You can filter by club. And one of those clubs you can filter by is the national team as well. So England. He's played 17 times with Jermaine Defoe. There we go. A bonus point to you, DMB. Fantastic work. There we go. We've got confirmation here. James Milner. Games played together. Filter by club, England. He's played 40 games with Joe Hart. He's played 37 with Wayne Rooney. 31 with Glenn Johnson. And if we head all the way down here, he's played 17 games with Jermaine Defoe. Beautiful stuff. Granted, there's probably a lot of players who've all played with James Milner because he has been going for 400 years. But that is a well-deserved bonus point for sure. Defoe and Milner played together at World Cup 2010 versus Slovenia, I think. Some fabulous knowledge coming out there. A lad I used to work with was printing names on shirts for the 2010 World Cup. Got asked for a Defoe one and put 19 on the back, but 18 on the front. Interesting. So yeah, we were talking about wage commitments, and we can see that for some of our younger players, Jayden Reed's wage does go up. We have interest in Jayden Reed from Stevenage, so hopefully we'll be able to get rid of him. We've got a load of players leaving, but Sid's is steady, Dahlstrom's is steady, Whitenan's is steady, Olawale's, Machado, Adam Larson, Enqvist, Riikonen, Patoot. Those players, none of their wages rise, but the young players do. So Lundberg, Fonsell, and Willie Nunes all have a slight raise. I think they're all going up by €50 per week. So they're the only one. We've only got to worry about an increase of 100. Sorry, there's one player at the top as well. €200 per week. Our wages are going up by players who are in the squad. So that's the only consideration. But Ajala, I am delighted to have him as our right wing back, and that really does solve a lot of problems for us as well with the way that we play. Our Traction FM is in. Good evening. Good evening, Adam. How are you doing? I hope you are well. How's your weekend? We are in the midst of some admin. We're having a review of what went on last season, starting to put together our squad planner, work out how many players we actually have for next year and how things are going to go forwards. So Michael Fonsell here, played at defensive midfield, 6.92 rating. I think he's been really, really reliable. He's won the ball back quite a bit for us. Well, he's won tackles quite a bit. 90% tackle win rate in 2,000 minutes. That's really, really impressive. 46% headers won seems a bit underwhelming for a guy who's 6'2". Generally speaking, being quite safe on the ball as well. I really like Michael Fonsell. I think he's someone we can build around, and we do have him for another 2 years, which is incredible. So I think that we've definitely got him here as the ball-winning midfielder, so defensive midfielder, central left. He's left-footed too. I think he's someone we can really build around, and perhaps, like, he's 21, right? I don't think he's a world beater. He's not going to be the kind of player that someone's going to like swoop in for. So he looks like someone potentially that we could hold on to for a long time. Fingers crossed. So could be you can't assign club legends this early in the career, but I've got my eye on him as being a potential for such. So Neutral Normie, thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're doing well. The ratio dollars per goal for Willie. So Willie's wage is quite low, to be fair, and he has got 1 goal. So a lot of love towards Willie. We know that we all love Willie here. Neutral Normie suggests that maybe James Milner remembers a few goals from Dixie Dean. Almost certainly. Thibault is here over on YouTube. Hey Musterman, I love your channel. You clearly are the best FM content creator out here. I appreciate that very, very kindly. I will always say that there are loads of amazing content creators out there, all that satisfy something different. But I appreciate the kind words. Attraction says, not too bad, thank you, mate. A wild one spent doing absolutely nothing other than eating and sleeping. That is the perfect weekend, without any doubt. The perfect weekend. So Thibaut, I also have a question about the Patreon. I would love to support you on this, but I wanted to know if we could get access to the Moneyball saves or even Zaragoza with the second tier, 7 years. So you do get access to the Moneyball saves if you check out the Google Drive link that is there on the Patreon. I know that you subscribed earlier. Thank you very much. So on Patreon, you've got a link to the Google Drive, or if you join in, I did send you a message earlier as well. You join the Discord, you can get the link through there. And in there, you have the all the links to the Moneyball saves in there. There's a folder which is called Members Only. And inside that folder, you've got tactics, you've got skins, you've got saves, and you've got something else. I can't remember what the last one is. It might be spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, that sounds right. So you'll be able to access everything through there. RJ says, you always need a Busquets with your Xavi and Iniesta. Exactly, and Fonsel is that man. Well, Crodmo is off now. He's got to play five-a-side in Hertfordshire rain. I hope you have a fabulous evening and don't embarrass yourself, that's all. Ciao for now indeed, enjoy. So Neutral Normie says, love your work and the general vibes of your content. Great skin too. Been using it for my journeyman. That's awesome to hear. Who are you with currently on a journeyman? Which season are you in? Walid is in over on YouTube. Good evening, Walid. How are you, sir? And Thibault says, okay, thank you very much. I'll do that then. Yeah, so yeah, definitely check it out. You've got everything there. You did mention the Zaragoza stuff as well. I can't remember if any of those are up there, but if they're not, I will upload them either after the stream tonight or possibly more likely is going to be tomorrow morning. As you can probably hear, I'm a little bit hoarse. So after the stream, I'm going to go for a nap. I hope that I'll get up in time to watch the NFL, and if I do, I'll then be uploading it then, whatever time that may be. So on to Hussein Suleiman. He came in, he basically played as a defender in cup games. From the looks of things, okay, so a centre-back that is 5'8", he's not going to win many headers. So 58% is probably better than you'd expect, but nowhere near good enough for centre-back. He has won basically every tackle he's gone for and been kind of okay, potentially as defensive midfielder. He's on the ball a lot. Progressive passing is pretty decent there. He does lose the ball perhaps a little bit too much that we'd like for a defensive role. We don't want them to be risky, but he does win the ball back a reasonable amount. So his contract's about to expire in a week's time. We're going to let it expire, but we might keep an eye on him. So once we see what our wages are like and what players we're targeting, maybe we just let him sit without a club for a few weeks, and then we come back and say, hey, do you wanna come back? Maybe on slightly less money. That sounds cool, doesn't it? So that's the plan of action with Suleiman. Okuriki has been. I've liked Okuriki. He only played for. Okuriki has played 1,500 minutes. He did have a couple of injuries. He's played literally between defensive midfield and centre back. So it's again difficult to tell exactly. But for someone who's 5'11", he has won nearly 80% of his headers. He has won tackles. I don't know if you noticed, but when we had Machado or Whiten unavailable, he played in defence and we won games against good teams with him in our defence. I like okay. I think that he's a really, really cool player. We've got him for one more season. I think he could potentially be that third centre back. Well, he could potentially be one of those two centre backs that we have. So we said we wanted to. He could potentially be the guy that plays on the right and be backup for defensive midfield as well. Was that? Did I just put Suleiman in? No, I didn't. I did put okay. Yes, okay is the man in. Just every time we linger over this, it goes back to a different player. That's cool. In 2033 with Ajax as neutral normie, trying to build a team which will go deep into Champions League. That does sound like a fun challenge. And Ajax are a great team as well. That youth academy really makes things quite fun and interesting. So Tibaha, yeah, take a good sleep, my friend. You deserve it. I love my naps, and I certainly will. But as I said, as soon as I can, I'll make sure that the Zaragoza saves are up there as well if they're not already. Well, it is doing well. I'm glad to hear it. Yonsa says no centre back under 185 centimetres would play for me, and even that is a stretch, says Yonsa. In a back three, I'm quite happy to have undersized centre-backs. I'm quite happy to have full-backs playing in defence in a back three. Only like one. In a back two, I'm certainly a lot more cautious about that idea. Chris Norton Walker says, don't worry, I'll message you at Brown's time. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Johnny Trotter says, Suleiman might not even leave. He might stay non-contract for a while. That is true. That is very true. Maybe we could be able to keep him around for free. That'd be nice. Hey, Suleiman, remember us? You have no club. Might come back to be a backup for 50p per week in the Snickers. Exactly. I'd quite happily play football for just well, not a Snickers. Despite my love of Willy, I'm not a big fan of nuts. So I'm more of a Mars man. Yuri Nissen here is another player whose contract is up. He's kind of like, so as a fullback, all of our fullbacks have been really good from a creativity standpoint, which is cool. 73% tackles is okay, he's decent in the air, he's making pressures, which is cool. I would like to see possession 1 higher. I would like to see progressive passes for wide players a little bit higher. With his being on 525 euros a week with his contract expiring, one, he's not coming back, or one, his contract's being allowed to expire, and I don't think he's someone we're going to bring back. Not unless his wage demands drop significantly anyway. Enquist, the fullback who can't but somehow does. We have him under contract for another 3 years. He's 23. He is our star. Enquist is definitely a man who needs to have a song. I don't. If you have ideas for songs for Enquist, songs where we can change out a key word of a title for Enquist would be amazing. Look at that, 0.41 expected assist. Some of that comes from set pieces. I think he is taking our set pieces because he's the only left-footed player on the pitch at times. But absolutely marvellous. 1 goal, 9 assists. Doesn't have the technical ability, but somehow has been doing okay. And it's those pressures which is really, really key. Like he's really, really useful to us in getting the ball back, which is brilliant. Simon Bengtsson scored 2 massive goals for us. He's on loan. I'd like to extend him if we could. If we could have 2 left backs and 2 right backs, that would be a glorious, glorious situation. So Bengtsson came in almost as good from an expected assist point of view. Again, also fantastic in terms of pressures attempted. Tackling's been okay too. If we could get him back for another year on loan, that'd be great. Sorry, I forgot to add him to the squad planner. Here's a definite add. Bengtsson, we can't guarantee he's going to be back. Same goes for Koskopalo. Koskopalo, almost the same profile here. His possession lost numbers and possession won numbers are a little bit lower than the others. No, actually. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so Koskopalo has lost a little bit more possession than Bengtsson, who lost a little bit more possession than Enquist. These Enquist, though, won back the ball 12.25 times. Compare that to Koskopalo's 9. I'm not so sure if we want Koskopalo back. I don't think he's just quite as good. We hope. Dahlstrom. Dahlstrom has been a weird player. We have played him as a wing-back, as a right midfielder in central midfield. Once we finally pushed him back to defensive midfield, he was quite creative. The number of balls we saw him send over the top to Olawale in particular was quite enjoyable. So RG said, by the way, and here's our favourite bad player. He can't pass, he can't defend, he can't cross, but for some reason he's the best. He's amazing, isn't he? Been spending most our lives living in an Enquist paradise. I like it. Enquist to the tune of Mbop. I see where you're going with that one. Enquist. Yeah, eng. I think that do Enquist. Ooh. Yeah. Enquist. We could possibly. I can see that. I'm going, okay, Coolio, indeed. Gotta love a bit of Coolio. I'm probably going to I'm going to keep Coolio for my wonderful Coolio Rakis song that we did for the Pauk series. Get it, Coolio Rakis? I was quite happy with that. Johnny Trotter says, here comes Enquist again, to the tune of Annie Lennox. Here comes the rain again. I could see that one working indeed. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. They don't indeed. I don't know how we fit that into a song, but I do like the pun. Great pun. Can I play with Enquist for the Maiden fans out there? I was going to try and sing that then, but there is absolutely no way that I'm being able to hit any of those notes, even if my voice wasn't harsh. Can I play with Enquist? That's a great shout. I do like that one. I do like that one a lot. Naturally, one of the hardest things I've found so far, and it's not that hard. I'm not looking for sympathy. Is that a lot of my choices I want are a lot more rocky than I think would necessarily be appreciated by a wider range. So I still have the version of Hard Rock Hallelujah with the name of our ground, the Wilkoff Holding Arena, as a possibility sat back there. Change Oh My Lord Kumbaya with Oh My Lord Ujala, says Jason Thomas. Indeed, that is a good choice. I just want some extra time and Enquist per Prince and the Revolution, suggested Shrew. I do like that. I do like that at all. The only thing I would temper that with, Shrew, is that means you'd have to hear me singing in falsetto, and that might be quite painful. Dahlstrom has Regista vibes, says RG. He does indeed. Look at, well, he's also quite good defensively. Like, he's not just like existing out there and having fun. He's doing the defensive work too. Like 2.81 tackles per 90, 82% tackle win rate. He's winning his headers. He's creating, he's carrying the ball, he's progressing it. He's basically doing everything but be safe with the ball. And that's okay, because we don't want him to be safe with the ball. We want him pinging things out there. He is, I'm so delighted that he is kind of really picked up to that defensive midfield role. There's nothing special about that role either. It's just a plain defensive midfielder. Zero instructions whatsoever. Which is crazy to me. I was going to assume that I was maybe the resident metalhead, so I'm here for it. Good. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. RG says, Fonsel Dahlstrom better than Gattuso Perlo. Those are some bold claims. I'm here for that as well. So, Askari Salonen is the next one. Now, his contract's about to expire. He's played between midfield, defensive midfield, and attacking midfield. More in the attacking positions, but he scored more goals from defensive midfield. DMB, no worries at all. I hope you feel better soon, my dude. Thank you very much for being along. Always lovely to see you. So Askari Salonen here. Scored 5 goals, assisted 3. He's got into really good shooting positions at times. He's probably been our best attacking midfielder when he's out of the players that have played in the attacking midfield role. He's probably been our best at getting into goal scoring positions, but also been one of the worst at finishing them off. So I don't think we're gonna miss out by him leaving. I just never quite did the things that we want. So his contract's due to expire. Not going to stick around. Emmanuel Patout now. Emmanuel Patout, there's absolutely no point looking at his pizza chart. He played 81 minutes. He was plagued by injury, I seem to recall. So we have just the 4. We had a groin strain, a cold, food poisoning, and pulled knee ligaments. And so by the end of the season, he was just so out of shape, there was nothing there. He is currently transfer listed. We didn't let him go out on loan because the offer was pretty awful. He remains transfer listed. He's got a high, his market value was higher than that, but we'd be happy to accept below his market value. He's here for another season. We'd really like to get rid of him if we can. Leo Anderson. Leo Anderson played also very little, so we don't really have any information on him that was useful. Contract's going to expire. He couldn't get a place in the team. Didn't really do anything that special. He did have an assist. He can play. He is left-footed. He can play on the left. Oh, you know what? Alright, so he can tackle. He works hard. He's determined. Decent decision-making. He managed a single assist. A single assist in 125 minutes, which is actually pretty impressive. He should have had more. 1.24 expected assists. So he's been creative. in those brief moments. He's on a non-contract deal as it is at the moment. He doesn't earn any money. It's due to expire. There is interest in him though. There is interest. I don't think he's shown anything that makes it worthwhile us extending him and actually paying him money, unfortunately. But maybe one to keep an eye on. So hold him. Who do you want us to hold, ACAB? Sorry. Which one is that? Was that while we were talking about Salonen or Patoot maybe? Patooting his own horn, says Johnny Trotter. Indeed, patooting his own horn. And Laka09, thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're doing well. Stand fair, like, don't feel obliged to chat whatsoever. But if you feel comfortable doing so, let us know who you support. Let us know who you're playing with in FM at the moment. Love to hear. RJ Olawale, our king, even with these thighs, it is the underwhelming thighs of Mohamed Tehi Olawale, a man who played 16 games for us at right wing back, 1 game as a left winger, 1 game as a right midfielder, and then ended the season as our star striker, 18 games, 10 goals, 3 assists. Now, considering he spent half of his time not playing as a striker, the fact that he's still above average for his striking metrics is pretty ridiculous. Thank you so much for the resub, Muro. I hope you're doing well. Absolutely appreciate it. RJ says also striker with number 2 to trigger people. He is staying as number 2. I love the fact that he is our star striker with number 2. It upsets me so much, says Adam. I'm sorry, my dude. I am sorry. Yeah, so Olawale, we've got him for another season. Maybe once we lock down a decent sized squad, I think my priority is going to be trying to extend him if we can. I'd love to have him around for a lot longer. He finished joint 3rd top scorer in the league, just 2 behind the wonderful mullet of Artu Heinonen. People want me to sign Artu Heinonen. There's absolutely no chance. He's got another year on his contract and he'll cost money, so that's a bit of a shame. But to finish 3rd despite playing half the season elsewhere is pretty damn incredible. So he is definitely in the squad planner as a striker. That's cool. Adam, are the little muted bits after subs like Secret Musterman Law? Do we need to start lip reading? Do you guys not hear the little sound bites? Because that should be set up through Stream Elements. Has it been that you just think I'm talking to myself every now and then when to pay extra for the volume there? Interesting. If that's not coming through, I haven't picked that up. Okay. Right, I need to fiddle around with that. No, on YouTube the sound cuts off completely. Yeah, it's not coming through. Interesting. So I am mouth reading to some classic commentary. Right, thank you very much. I now that I'm aware. As we say on almost every stream, I'm a professional, right? I'm a professional. So R2D2, I like it, Johnny. I like it. No mullet stash striker, unfortunately not. I generally thought I was missing something. Every day's a school day. There have been lots of. I admire you guys for having not said anything else about it. Just like, does he just break? Oh, wait a second. You did say that you thought I was broken last week, not because I was speechless for the amazing, glorious support I received, but because I was just being quiet as the things were playing. Oh, fabulous. Oh, fabulous. Cool. It's always something to. So yes, I mean, it was on purpose because I can hear the sound bites. So ACAB says 675 for Sid, kick him out. Robin Sid has been an absolute abomination. So he has played the majority of his games as an attacking midfielder. a small smattering elsewhere. 1 goal and 3 assists for a player who is technically our best player. He has been truly, truly atrocious. He is barely above the 25th percentile in anything apart from ball security, and he is 100% on the chopping block this winter. I'm not adding him to the squad planner. He's going to be here with us for another 2 years until we sell him, but he's just not part of our plan. And if we look at his attributes, like, he's a really good player. He's a really, really good player, and he's just been pap. Say it loudly. Good evening over on YouTube. Where are we? We're in Finland. How are you, by the way, sir? So we've just finished the first season. We're playing with IFK Mariehamn. They're based in the archipelago of the Åland Islands, which is situated just off the mainland. As archipelagos tend to be situated off mainland, there wouldn't be much of an archipelago if it was part of the... Yeah, you know what I mean. They speak Swedish. They're autonomous. They have their own government. And they were expected to get relegated. Well, not necessarily expected to get relegated. They're expected to fight for relegation. The end of the first season, though, we finished 4th, sneaking into Europe after a remarkable run of form at the end. And now we're just having a look through, seeing how our players performed and planning for the new season. What the fuck is that pizza chart? He's the best at losing balls, that's all. So, no, he's the best at keeping the ball safe. Just to be clear on that one. So the bigger they are, the better it is. So with possession lost, it's inverted. 8.99, losing the ball 8.99 times for an attacking midfielder is really good. Whereas if you compare that to, say, all our attacking midfielders have been pretty good in that regard. Actually, we've got fullbacks that lose the ball a lot. Whereas with the fullbacks, it gets smaller when the possession loss number goes up, so 15.06 there. So yeah, Sid is transfer listed. And he is quite happy with that as well from the looks of things. So we can be okay with that. But then Adam Larson. Now Adam Larson has been a quandary, which is a bit of a disappointment. OSC Rewind, he's the best at keeping the ball, that's all. That's the only thing he is good at, indeed. They speak Swedish except Reed, yes. Oh, well, look forward to getting on to Jaden Reed. Poor old Jaden Reed. So Adam Larson, he has played a mixture of positions. He's played up front, he's played as an attacking midfielder, he's played behind the strikers. He's been okay behind the strikers, to be fair. Both those roles kind of okay. He's doing really well at the out of possession stuff. He's pressuring, he's tackling, he's winning back the ball a lot for a striker, relative. He's not been very good at scoring. 0.29 goals from 0.16 XG. He's just not getting into shooting positions, which is the problem. I think we persist with him as the backup to Olawale, as someone that maybe can play behind the strikers, or when we go for some other type of system. But there is a chance we move him on. If someone comes his way, we might well look at moving him on. Jaden Reed, poor old Jaden Reed. To say it loud, he says, "I'm good, thank you. Just a little bit of YouTube squeeze between commitments. I'll squeeze in all you can. It is always difficult, isn't it? But it's lovely to see you in." And Ferk DK, good evening. Thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're well. Is that DK for Denmark? Are you Danish based, or is it for Donkey Kong? Is it for Donkey Kong possibly? Was it none of those things at all? Obviously, no obligation whatsoever to reply, but yeah, do jump into chat. You are there you are. It is for Denmark. Haha, good evening. So who do you support over in Denmark, sire? By the way, I'll carry on talking about this as well. So Jaden Reed has played a number of positions for us. Again, he's played behind the strikers. He's played as a striker. He's played out wide. He started off the season well, and then he failed to learn Swedish, and he's been rubbish ever since. He's transfer listed by request. It's saying 135k there. It says 130k there. We don't have plans for him to be part of our squad come next season, and Stevenage are rumoured to be interested. So their transfer window obviously doesn't open till January, but hopefully hopefully we can send Jaden packing back to England and make a fair penny there. So Arvid Lundberg, we definitely need a song for Arvid Lundberg. So you're an OB fan. Lovely to hear. RJ says OB indeed, yep. Sisu Sankari is in. Good evening, how are you? Hello, I guess today is just transfers. Indeed, that is why it's a post-season review and just general planning for next season. That's why it's titled post-season review. How did we do? There won't be any games, I don't think, on this, I'm afraid. You should tell Stevenage he doesn't speak Swedish. Well, funny you should say that, RJ. They're just down the road from me. Well, relatively. So maybe I could actually tell them. They might be a bit confused when I'll go up to the ground and say, by the way, do you know Jaden Reed doesn't speak Swedish? And then I'll leave. No context provided. The Arvid Lundberg is our star strike partnership to Olawale. Finished with 14 goals in 39 games. Doesn't sound that impressive, but he's an 18-year-old lad who's won 6 headers a game. 48% is pretty damn good as well. Scoring above his XG. He's getting into shooting positions. He's creating for others. Despite being a big lad, he's dribbling it. He's dropping deep and he's helping aid progression. He's winning the ball back. Like, this guy is amazing. He's 18 years old. 18 years old, and he has been incredible for us. RJ, film that, please. Great TikTok content. There's a plan. He's worth a lot of money. He is worth a lot of money, ACAP. And we have him for 2 more years. That's probably the most important thing, is that value's not going to start dropping for a little bit. We've got him under contract for a while. Hopefully that interest will be forthcoming. If we could get, even if we could get in the middle of that, around 750k, that would pretty much fund us for the next few years, which would be incredible stuff. Lundberg has been just sensational for us. He's been the player that we thought that Adam Larsson or Willie Nunes would be. So there's definitely a key part of what we want to do next season. Hopefully we can have him for at least a season more. Dave spent the season on loan. He came back. 135 minutes isn't enough to judge on someone. 650 euros a week, and it's due to expire. He's gone. He's gone. Emily Honkala. What a fabulous name. What a fabulous haircut as well. Kind of sweeping over his eyes. He's got Rupert Grint eyes as well. I don't know if that really counts for anything. He's scored 2 goals for us. He scored a penalty on his debut in injury time. And then he swept home one of the goals in the final. Some big moments. We're not paying any money for him. He's also quite young. He's also valued highly. Maybe if we could extend his loan, that would be amazing. But again, we can't guarantee that it'll happen, so he won't be added to the squad chart. And then finally, Willie Nunes. He's now 17 years old. He has been pretty shit, quite frankly. He scored 1 goal in 471 minutes. That's 0.19 goals from 0.32 non-penalty XG. He has created chances for others. So while he doesn't have an assist, he probably should have had an assist, which is at least something. Doesn't dribble much, doesn't lose the ball too much, which is cool, but really not being the player we thought. We thought that with his decent acceleration and pace, his good movement, his good finishing and composure, that we might have a pretty good little player here. There's still a lot of hope for him. There's still quite a lot of hope there. We can see they do think he's high potential, but we're yet to see it. We're certainly not going to give up on him. We've got him for 2 years, but he is very much a backup and not a key player. Maybe someone we look to send out on loan to a lower division. So that means of our squad, we are looking at a squad planner that looks pretty damn bare. No Squirrel says, hey Musterman, I hope you're good. A quick question for you. I'm really keen to try out the skin, but I don't know where to start. Do you have a video that would be good to start with it? And is it best to run a year before playing? So there's no need to run a year before playing. You won't have data until games are played, but you can still play, and you can still judge players based on their attributes, as we do here, and as we're talking around it. You've got a lovely little key that appears that tells you what those ranges mean, and that is enough knowledge to go on. Like, I know that this player has a good physical profile. I know that they can finish and they're off the ball and they can dribble. I know that there's weaknesses elsewhere. That is more than enough information to use. And then once you've played some games and you've got the information being populated, you're able to drill into it a little bit more. But otherwise, is there a video that goes into it in great detail? There is almost all of the Palkin Zaragoza series, where we do touch on little elements of it here, especially in the kind of the transfer planning episodes. There are all the VODs from these streams that you can see. These VODs are available on YouTube if you go to the live tab and you watch back. And there are the videos for the skin itself as well, which talks about all the features and where to find them. But in terms of is there a step-by-step, like do this, then do this, then do this, then do this? I'm afraid not, sorry. So Michael Marr says, looks like a Harry Potter character for Honkler. He does indeed. I said, like, the eyes of Rupert Grint, right? Willie is a letdown, says Johnny Trotter. Indeed. Our wonder kid. Our supposed wonder kid. Ferk also asks, I have a question about skin and the level of detail. Does it just take significantly longer to load compared to a normal save? Is it just that my computer isn't powerful enough? So Ferk, I don't know if you were the same gentleman who was over on YouTube earlier. It will be slow when you've got it on at full level of detail. It will take longer to process because it's processing all those games in a full level of detail, but that shouldn't be that much. Like, it might take I find it might take an extra 10, 20 seconds potentially per day. But obviously that does depend on your computer, and it depends largely on your CPU. So look into your CPU, see if there's any ways that you can optimize that if you're finding that it's running very, very slowly. JHK says he has everything to be a good finisher but can't finish. Exactly. It is a shame. Mika says maybe Willie needs more playing time to develop. Indeed, that's why I said he'll probably be someone we look to send out on loan. ACAB, now we have youth prospects. The goalkeeper and the striker were good. Indeed. So that's the whole point. I was going to say is we're going to look at this. We're then going to look at our youth prospects that will come back and probably that we expect to be part of the first team next year. And then we fill in the team from there on. So Squirrel, that's great. Cheers. I'll give it a go. Fabulous. And thank you very much for the super chat. That's very, very kind. If you do have any issues though, obviously just jump on. You can leave a comment on any of the videos, or you can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky, etc. Any of those, and you can do so. So Ferk says, I think for a match day it can take up to a minute or two to forward. So okay, yeah, when you've got lots of matches going on, it's obviously going to take time to process. A minute or two isn't that bad at all. That's pretty normal, I think, for most people. Yeah, as RJ says, it's normal. So a quick look at our squad right now. We have 3 centre backs. We've got 1 player each for across the midfield. We've got no attacking midfielders. We've got 3 strikers and 1 tight forward. Now, Adam Larson could potentially play back there. We've got some flexibility with someone like Ajala. I would really like that player to be left-footed, but we could potentially move players around there. So we've got a skeleton, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a 12-man squad. So that's a reasonable core. Once we have those other players leaving, we do need to fill quite a lot of positions, but not too many. So Lukmar No Pants says the only thing I kind of dislike about the skin is that I find it harder to track if my players are developing. With the normal skins, you see at a glance if the little arrows next to the attributes are there or not. That's fair enough. Obviously, it is always going to be difficult in that respect, being able to tell, especially when you've got a broad range, but that's the whole point. It's meant to be a challenge. What you can do, though, is you can see relative change. And I don't know if we've got a player that's developed enough, to be fair. But if you go into... here we go. Perfect example. You go into the progress charts and you go here. What we have is you can't tell what their exact attributes are here. We've taken that away, but you can see how much they've changed. So you can see their development long term. And so RJ has redeemed a guest the player. He's guessed DeMarco straight away for after the break. That is fabulous. And we do have a break coming up, 2 minutes in fact. So let's take a look at our squad. I've already sorted them by current ability. So Jimmy Slayman is meant to be our best youth player. Okay, thanks. I love the skin. Should just hear if it's normal. It took longer. So yeah, during when it's got to process matches, it will take a little bit longer. You'll notice that if you're doing like a holidaying or instant resulting, you will always have that little bit there. Laka, do you use your own training schedules or downloaded ones? I have never downloaded a training schedule ever, I'm afraid to say. In this particular save, the assistant manager is responsible for it, but otherwise I would create my own schedules depending on what we're doing philosophically with the save at that particular time. But for this, because I've learned that while streaming it can be a little bit difficult to multitask and pay attention to things that require that level of detail, to be honest, we've just left that to the assistant manager, and we'll let them work their magic. Right, okay. We are about to head into a break, so we'll come back, we'll play, guess the player, and then we'll have a look at the youth prospects, and then we can start really identifying what we need for our transfer targets. So I'm going to head that off in a second. I will see you guys in about 3 to 4 minutes. We're back. So, yes, we have some early getters in for the next round against the player. There is obviously DeMarco, Chris Norton-Walker coming in with all the FM24 players, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Ali Dia, Eric Jemba. So good they named him twice. Will it be any of those players? Let's find out. So, for those who have joined the stream and maybe haven't seen these before, the rules are pretty simple. I do apologise to those who obviously have seen these streams quite a lot and they know exactly what I'm going to say. You probably can repeat it word by word by now. You're going to see a snapshot of a player's profile in FM24. This is a player at the start of the game on the default database in FM24. So it is possible that they've moved in real life. But this will be their profile. You're going to see 5 screenshots. Each bit will show a little bit more information. We'll start off with their position, then their attribute polygon, then their scout report, their attributes and traits, and their career history. Your job is quite simple. Guess as early as you can. The earlier you guess, the more points you get. The more points you get, the higher up you end up on the leaderboard. The leaderboard, which is just below me. We have one that runs all time and we have one that runs weekly. The week started just now, so we don't have any scores apart from the wonderful ones picked up a little bit earlier on this evening. Tatsugiri came in and got a great 3 points on the last Guess the Player. And I feel bad because in my head I can't remember who got the 1 point last time. Who got the 1 point? I feel so bad. Oh no, why can't I remember? Why can't I remember? My memory is gone. Right, I'm scrolling back now. This is bad. This is bad of me. I'm so sorry. It was the hat tricks. It was the hat tricks. Who guessed the hat tricks? Give the point to me, says ACAB. That's fair. That's fair. If I don't know, then that's fine. I know DM Basis got a bonus point. It was RJ. It was RJ. Of course it was RJ. And RJ has just said me, yes. So the problem is now that I've scrolled back all the way through chat, I can't see my chat. But yes, yeah, I'm so sorry, RJ. So the guesses we've got coming in before we've even seen a profile. So is it Alfonso Davis? It's Freddie Adu, obvious. Is it Luca Pfeffer? Adam Mola Lukman? Aaron Zetner is a good player. Aaron Zetner might be a good... I don't know who Aaron Zetner is. I'm the lost and found. Federico Macheda. Can't blame you, I never win. Well, let's see if any of you are even close to begin with. We have a right-footed striker. Someone who is a pressing forward and basically nothing else. I mean, they're half a star of a false nine, half a star of a trequartista, 2 stars of a target forward, deep line forward, poacher, advanced forward, but they are completely and utterly a pressing forward. And so it makes sense that Jamie Vardy is an early guess there from Adam. It isn't, but that's fine. So Cockysmell says 19-year-old German left back with cracking corner taking. Interesting one to look for. Dear Dominic Calvert-Lewin, says FM Console. Timo Werner, Yusuf Poulsen. They are all very decent guesses. And then we have Michael Owen in there as well. Obviously, if this was Michael Owen, we wouldn't be showing screenshots of their profile. We'd be showing screenshots of his lovely little pamphlet that he made. Oh, poor Michael Owen. So let's have a look here. What do we know about this player from their attribute profile? They are quick. They are really quick. And doesn't really matter about everything else. Just speed. Pure speed. Is it Kai Havertz? It is not Kai Havertz. Is it Luis Diaz? Says Captain Zeep. Good evening, Zeep. How are you doing, sire? Is it Adeyemi? It's good guesses. Is it Maida? Says Adam on the Ball FM. Oh, bollocks. Because you managed Dyson Maida, didn't you, Adam? Didn't you? So you know just how quick he is. He is really quick, isn't he? He's also completely and utterly right. Give that man a round of applause. A 4-point guess from the attribute polygon. It is indeed Dyson Maida. Fabulous. FM Console says exactly right. Maida is nothing but pace. Cockles Mouse is clearly a lower league player, and I'd agree with you. The Scottish Premiership is definitely a lower league. Tatsugiri had guessed Sesko. Moise Keane had been guessed. Alassane player, for all fair guesses. Darwin Núñez. Adama Traore. So Cocky Smush did say Scotland counts as lower league, but congrats. A red con for technique could not be more correct for that man. Indeed, indeed. He is fast. Let's just have a look at his profile proper there. That is his attribute. 19 for acceleration, 19 for pace. He can't really control the ball. He doesn't have good technique. He works hard though. He works hard. He's aggressive. He's determined. An absolutely cracking guess. Well worth the 4 points there. If it hadn't been Maida, my next guess would have been Thomas Amang. That is fair. That is absolutely fair. The rounds of applause are coming in from Levi, the medical car, Ravi, Fizzy FM, RJ, Cocky Smush, and you deserve them. You definitely deserve them. The definition of a Japanese Craig Bellamy, says FM Console. Definitely. Or the Japanese Shane Long, says Zeep. Very, very, very true. So I didn't know he was that fast. He really is. 19 out of 19. He is speed. He's a ball, says Say It Loudly over on YouTube. Completely. Clockhook Smash, I feel sick even looking at this. It is, I mean, like aren't you intrigued? Don't you want to now sign him in FM? You want to see just exactly how crazy that pace is. Danny says, hats off to you, sir, and absolutely. A strike partnership of Slayman and Reindeer, asked Koku Smelch. So yes, we do. We have the most Christmas man we could possibly have. We have a Slayman. We have a Slayman. So let's have a look, talk about our youth prospect. Jimmy Slayman is a 16-year-old that's come in. He's unambitious. He's a pressing forward, right-footed. And we take a look at his... Obviously, he hasn't had a chance to play competitive games. It's only just arrived. This is our first season. We take a look at his attribute profile. He's got good flair. He's got good anticipation, good dribbling and first touch. Decent at set pieces as well. He's got good balance, strength, heading, bravery, work rate. Where he lacks, that is key, is determination. So that is a slight concern, but that's kind of what we expected from someone who's also ambitious. He's not particularly quick. He's not necessarily good at jumping. So as a target, he might be good at heading, but at 5'11" with less than ideal jumping, there's a slight concern there. I say no pace. Passing and technique needs work. Things like finishing and composure. So he's a long way off. But I do think that he could be our alternative to a target forward. I think that if we look to develop, we'd look to develop his physicals just so that a couple more of these are at least good. Right, so if we can get his acceleration and pace up to be around the 11 mark, that makes good. We get maybe his jumping up a little bit. You know, just enough to be good, to be serviceable. And then we work on his technique and passing and vision. I think he would make quite an interesting deep line forward. Like he's got kind of the profile that I think would work. He's also quite creative. It doesn't look like he's ever going to be the advanced forward that we fit into our system. So I think he can work, and he's definitely going to be part of our first team to go forward. So we'll add him to the squad planner as our striker on the left, be the backup to Lundberg until Lundberg is definitely eventually poached. So he doesn't have Maeda speed. He doesn't indeed. Unambitious pressing forward feels like a contradiction. That's true. That is definitely true. Console says, I've actually worked out how the polygon works as well, because not all attributes are included in the polygon. No, they're not. So I don't have the polygon on here, but yeah, you've got those groupings which are quite funny. And if you see the way that some of the other creators have done with skins, is sometimes you can have it weighted in different ways as well, which is quite cool, quite fun. But yeah, so the polygon mixes a number of different attributes to generally give an overview. Some good greens on show here, says FMFC indeed. Rowan Honours in. Good evening, Rowan. How are you, sir? How's the save going? We finished our first season. We finished in Europe. We got a 4th place. Incredibly, despite our awful start earlier on this year, we managed to put things together in the second half, get ourselves into the championship group, climb all the way up to 4th, and then win a European playoff battle thing to get that last European spot. It has been quite incredible. So where were we? We had a pretty awful month back in June. Back in June, everything was going wrong. We changed our tactics, and then this was the second half of the season. Just absolutely incredible. Win after win after win after win. And suddenly the feel-good there is there. Tonight, we're just reviewing the season. We're looking at where we need to strengthen and plan for next season. Get everything put together. How did your stream finish off? I saw the unfortunate outcome with Sporting. Obviously a fantastic result away from home in the first leg. Disappointing in the second leg, but a phenomenal achievement nonetheless. Yeah, how did the rest of the stream go? Cocky Smash says, I don't know how high players are valued in Finland, but 1 million for a youth player feels like a high potential value. 100%. I mean, I think there's a lot of faith just to even start at 130k. You've seen that we've got players that are valued lower than that who are senior established players. There really is good feeling for Jimmy Slayman here. I mean, he is the main prospect. He's... Where were we? So we want to go to this bit here. He's currently already a 2-star player. Potential 4, maybe up to 5 stars. So there's real hope there. That's impressive, actually. Well done. Thank you, my dude. Only 2 draws. Kind of crazy, says Mr. Tunafish. Yeah, it was win or losses. It's the only results we know here. All that with 1 slider. Yeah, the fact that all we changed was slider from in the middle to slightly shorter. We did also put a striker up front called Olawale, who we'd been playing as a right wing back out of necessity, and he kind of made a huge difference. So our other hot prospect, as ACAB was saying, was the goalkeeper. That's Per Edlund. He's got... So the key things that I like to see in a goalkeeper are reflexes, agility. First touch and passing are a bonus because I like sweeper keepers. Positioning is also the other one. Decisions is good. Handling is good. Those are encouraging signs. I'm not as worried. Like, I'd like a goalkeeper with good anticipation. I'd like a goalkeeper with good throwing. I'd like good composure and technique, but I'm not that concerned about it. He is already a promising profile of goalkeeper. He's not quite there, but as a backup, I think he's more than serviceable at this level. So that's really encouraging. We've basically got 2 players in from our first youth intake that are almost certainly going to be part of our plans going forwards, which is great. So let's move them up here. The question is whether any of these other 1-star players could realistically be considered. So Rowan says, we won the 2nd division in season 1, got 5th in season 2 in the top flight, both seasons predicted last. And yeah, besides that home game against Sporting, we won every match in the stream. So we're 2nd in the league and in the Conference League phase. That's amazing going. Jimmy gonna bang goals like he's Santa gifting presents on a sleigh. Man, I see what you did there. As I said, his name is appropriate for this time of year as well. Definitely for a country as well, Åland is a little bit more South Finland, but Finland in general is north, so that counts. Igor Lofgren here. He's light-hearted. I like a light-hearted person. So by now, you know that I'm not really one for optimal play styles. You know, let's just let things happen and see where the story takes. I like the idea of having a mixture of personalities within the squad. Imagine how boring it would be going to work and like everyone is just all really like stone-faced and professional. Like, where's the fun? Where's the joy? And that's why I love a light-hearted or jovial personality in FM. And so our 6'5" gentle giant Igor Lofgren fills me with hope. In fact, Cockroach Smash has said the big friendly giant indeed. Exactly. I love the fact that this guy, like, he looks like a unit. I know that there's a lot of criticism of the new gen faces. Quite fair. But doesn't he look like a giant? Even in that, he looks like some kind of like meathead. He's like, you look like you're going to be scary, but actually he's like giving you hugs and everything. Just a kindly fella. So from an attribute standpoint, he's a long way away, to be fair. Got good determination. He can jump. Naturally quite fit. He's got balance. He can tackle. Decent concentration. Where he's really lacking super low are all the things that aren't really important for a defender. Obviously, passing and first touch we'd like to improve, but the fact that they're not completely in the mud is encouraging. Again, we could do with him being a little bit quicker, being able to head, maybe increasing that bravery somehow if we can. I think there's a player in there. They reckon he's 3 to 4 stars. I feel there's something encouraging, and as maybe a player who comes in, maybe in cup games, I think that there's definitely something. I think he might contribute this season. That's essentially what I'm saying. It's a shame he's not left-footed. That's the only issue. Mr. Tunafish, I'm sick of perfectionists at work. Come on, man. How boring would it be? How boring would it be if instead of anything gets done, everyone's just delaying it because, oh no, unfortunately that's not quite right. Well, we'll have to push back everything that we're working on by another 6 months so I can... joyless places. Cocky's Smash says, I need a Jimmy Bullard. That would be interesting. I don't know if there is a personality of cunt in the game. No, bless him. I should be. I did add him to squad plan, didn't I? I did. So we'll push him up there. He probably won't play anything other than occasional cup games, but obviously we need those bodies as it's there. Naturally quite fit, but how are his thighs? A good question. I bet at 6'5", he's got some pretty good thighs. Oscar Holmberg is another light-hearted player. He's a wing-back. He can play in the wing-back positions on the right. He can also play centre-back and at left-back. Here we go. Like, great mentals here. Great work rate, great natural fitness, stamina, determination, leadership, teamwork. This is a player that we can definitely work around. I'm encouraged by that. He's aggressive, good decision-making. I like aggression, right? Aggression is going to be, it's not dirtiness, it's how willing and active they are in engaging, and that's what I want from a wing-back. I want someone who's going to go for those challenges, even if their tackling isn't necessarily that good. Marking is obviously a concern, but otherwise, again, a player that if we can push his acceleration and pace up to be serviceable, if we can maybe get his marking up a little bit, tackling up a little bit, passing and first touch up, and dribbling as well. That's the only thing. Now, we can have a wing back that doesn't dribble. We can ask them to dribble less, and if we can focus on pushing crossing up, so all they essentially do is if we can get them to run and other people create the balls through to him, that's how we get the space. Then I think we can do something with Oscar Holmberg. So that's a possible right wing back, which is cool. Stefan Blad, he's fickle. A deep lying forward, a 6'1" deep lying forward. So look, Marno Pants, can you disclose if the tactic you created for the Dortmund Moneyball video is holding up in the second season? I'm thinking about trying it in my AZ save. So if you go onto my Twitter or my Blue Sky, you'll see that I posted a screenshot of the relationships between our attacking four, with something along the lines of saying, and I wonder why my advanced forward is doing so well. We might have an advanced forward who scored like 25 goals in the first 15 games. The tactic's doing fine. You should have no problems in the second season. It's working kind of as expected, which is marvelous, absolutely marvelous. And we also managed to sell someone to a very surprising team for 95 million euros, which shocked me a little. Wasn't part of my plans, but we'll certainly take it. So RJ says, I like this Holmberg. Determination, work rate, teamwork. Exactly. He looks like he's got the real core of someone who's going to be quite good. So Stefan Blad, 6'1", described as a deep lying forward, can play in midfield and attacking midfield as well. Doesn't really have the physical profile at all, which, like, we've got a striker. I kind of want to have both strength and balance if they're going to be a deep lying forward, and agility. So there's concerns. There's a lot of work that needs to happen physically for him to really impact first team. I also like my deep lying forwards to be able to pass. That's kind of what makes the difference between a deep lying forward and a target forward to me. So again, some work there, but good first touch, good technique, good flair. Those areas are just things that we need to really, really work on. And I'm not sure if there's enough scope for him to improve enough. So he's probably not going to be part of the first team this season for sure. But we can see how he gets on. So Stefan Blad, definitely a youth player. Anton Persson, another unambitious player. So we only seem to have unambitious or light-hearted. A left-footed left winger, 6 foot tall. He's got good acceleration, good aggression. The rest of it's not particularly encouraging, is it? So he can't be a wing-back. Like, there's just too much for him to refine defensively to be a wing-back. He also can't pass. I don't see where he would potentially fit in. But, you know, who knows? There's maybe a bit of chance. We've got, like, acceleration is always going to be good. Someone who's got pace. He's a long way off being part of the first team, for my guess. Yama Mohammed. He's another right back, balanced personality, boring balanced personality. Can play at right wing back, can play at left back. He's got good work rate and stamina and balance and anticipation. Another full back that can't dribble. A lot of work needed, but yeah, I think we're definitely entering now the youth players that are just going to be youth players. Alan Strom, a left back who's not likely to improve much. Also light-hearted. Has pace, has stamina. Those things are good. Can tackle. That's good. Can't dribble. That's becoming the standard. Good decisions. Maybe if they've got the potential wrong. Maybe our scouts and our coaches are being a bit harsh, and actually he turns out to be better. Maybe there's a player in there, but not looking promising right now. And Aymar Makutungu Kalala, even a low determination inside forward, but it's a right-footed inside forward apparently, on the right. Good work rate, good dribbling, first touch off the ball, can't finish, doesn't have acceleration or pace. Okay, so I say doesn't have it, but like what is considered average isn't great. I'd love to have players that are already good at that. That is a big hope for youth teams. So I actually think that if we can improve his acceleration, pace and stamina, we can improve tackling, aggression, decisions, positioning, improve a little bit of technique, we can ignore the fact that his finishing is bad, and he could be a wing back potentially. He's got more scope for growth than the last gentleman. Probably again a long way off. Low determination probably isn't going to improve much, but yeah, I think there's stuff there. I don't think if at 1 star we've got players that haven't got much ability, we're not going to have players who are youth stars only making an impact. So that's 4 players into the first team squad, onto the squad planner as well. So we're starting to look a little bit more. He's put Lofgren in all those positions. There we go. Harmgren. We've got Slayman there. We've got Per Edlund. So we're starting to have a bit more of a filled out thing. What we need is a left-footed centre-back for sure. We need defensive midfielders, ideally 2 to cover that. We need a left-back, and we need at least 2 attacking midfielders. So that's my feeling right now. So very chill kid, says Muro. Absolutely. Is your head of youth development unambitious? Quite possibly. Let's have a look at Johan Carlson. He's fairly determined. He's got national reputation as well. He's probably quite good. He's been the head of youth development at Mariehamn since 2010. Has been there a long time. His staff contracts are up to the board, or well, to the director of football. So maybe he's not going to be here much longer. Despite being a servant for the last 14 years, since he was 29, Johan Carlson. Yeah, like a decent personality, to be fair. Dill is in. Good evening, Dill. How are you doing? I'm a little bit hoarse. You might be able to hear, But otherwise, I'm doing well. We have finally turned things around with Mariehamn. We ended up finishing 4th. We qualified for Europe. And this is basically our post-mortem. We're going through, we're reviewing the season, trying to identify what areas we're going to need to address. We've got a lot of players out of contract, and we've got a lot of areas that we need to target, which is it's going to be fun. But we've just gone through the squad. We've identified some of our youth players who are going to move up. It's going to be really good. I'm hoping we can. So next thing we're going to do is kind of look through who our scouts have found, see whether any of them have contracts expiring. We're probably not going to be able to make a move for them immediately because we're currently over the wage budget, but on the 15th of November, so in a week and a half's time, once our players have all been released, we'll then be able to pick up those that have been released but not been offered contracts by anyone else. So let's talk about that element. What do we want? So we've got left back, 2 attacking midfielders, 2 defence midfielders, a left centre back minimum. So here is our lovely old thing. These were our priorities, but we're going to ignore all that. We're going to say contract expiring in 1 month. We're going to have a look through and see what we've got there. These are going to hopefully be all the players that we expect to come through. We've got someone here. We've got Dejan Garaka. Oh, look at that. He prevents goals. This is quite encouraging. So Deal Conference League, that will be fun. It will indeed. Now we're going to be in the very early qualifying round. So whether we actually make it to the Conference League proper would be a huge ask. But the money even from the qualifying round should be a massive boon to us. RJ, last one whenever you want. Perfect. Thank you very much. So RJ has redeemed the Only Connect. We will get to that in a short period there. So look, Mar, no pants. What's your wage budget like? You got some room there? Absolutely not. Our finances are in the mud. We are €1 million in debt. We have a wage budget remaining of -500. We haven't had a transfer budget all game. The entirety of the transfers that we've made up until now have been transfer loans, and all players on €0 a week. But with the players that will be released, so Nordquist, that's no wages at all there. But Alvin's €600 a week. He's going to be gone. Suleiman's another 275. So that's now us up to 875. Nissen in there, that brings us up to 1.4 per week. Salonen to 1.8 per week. Sorry for it doing its lovely little bouncing around bit. Day as well. So that's 2.4K per week. It's going to be coming off our wage budgets in a little bit of time. So we're going to have roughly about €1,900 per week to play with. If we can continue to find players that are a little bit closer to that minimum, which seems to be around the €300 per week mark, that's 5 or 6 players we can bring in on top of loans as well. So we've certainly got wiggle room. RJ in the red, yes indeed. Morning all, voice sounding as croaky as mine, drink some squash. Good morning Lester, I hope you're doing well. Yes, I will. So we're definitely in the early throes of fever, Lou, I'm afraid to say. I can feel the glands every time I swallow. So we will plow on through whilst I can still talk and I'm still having fun. So I have a feeling there might be a chance that Wednesday won't happen if it carries on this way. But fingers crossed I'm wrong, and it's just a passing tickle. Passing tickle, as you say. How was your weekend? How's your Monday been as well? It's now Tuesday. You're ahead of us all. So what do we want? We want to look at... So we're just looking expiring at 1 month. Do we say 3 months? Does that take us up to players in December as well? So we've got a few things here in the Division 1. Nora. So this is a league that isn't active. So we've got to be mindful of that with these stats. So he's prevented goals. He's on €170 a week, so he's certainly affordable. We've got very minimal knowledge, but yeah, definitely a player for us to keep an eye on. let's just go to our shortlist for a second as well. I know that Atu Hakala is a player who we don't have any. Apparently, we've got a recommendation for him. Completed on the 31st of October, but no information about how much information we've got there. So he made 5 appearances, conceded 1 goal more than expected. I'm afraid he might well turn out to be good, Quez, but yeah, that's an off the list for us. So Marcus Freud here. Do we have the Superettan loaded? We do have the Superettan loaded. So this is real information. 27 games, 36 goals conceded. Minus 0.04 more than expected. It's certainly not good, but it's not awful. We've got extensive knowledge on him, so these are accurate. That's a well-rounded goalkeeper. 675 euros a week, that is far too much, but if his contract expires and nobody bids for him, maybe we'll be able to lure him for less. Ali Keita. Oh, Ostersons. So this man, I know for a fact, has been managed by Graham Potter, because one of the connections I was going to do was managed by Graham Potter, in the hope that there'd be some Ostersons players that were recognisable. There weren't, so that's why I can talk about it, because it's not going to happen. But Ali Keita was signed, I think he's been there since like 2010, 2011 or so. So 2014 even he joined. Ali Keita, Osterson's goalkeeper. He concedes quite a bit more, so 0.31 goals more than expected. That means they're conceding an XG of 1.57 per game. He is basically conceding 20% more than expected. That's a no. That is a no. And what about Gerardo Ortiz, the 35-year-old Soldo Americas goalkeeper? We definitely don't have that league available. No, we don't. What is the... I can't even click on it, so we can ignore that. Apparently he's very good, but we can't go off any of those stats. So there's a couple of those to keep an eye on. Centre-backs. Oh, there's actually quite a lot of players here. That's marvellous. Some of these are going to be in leagues that aren't active, so that'll be filtered out. If we can find someone who's left-footed, so we can start off. Canadian league's not going to be active. Pardon me. Also fighting off this little tickle that stayed around for a few days. Was relegated to the spare room last night due to my coughing, so make sure to rest up. Oh, that's tough. You know you're ill when the missus kicks you out, essentially. I hope you feel better soon, my dude. I really do. Louis says, hello, sir. You have inspired me to do a Moneyball save with Hajduk Split, and my manager is Nikita Jelavic. Now, there's a throwback. Rangers legend Nikita Jelavic. Everton legend Nikita Jelavic. How is it going so far? So Krez says the version of him was trash. The Hakala I know is a baller. Fair enough. That's just how it works, isn't it? Sometimes I imagine there's probably a lot of random involved with the database for things like the Finnish league. Adam says Ken Seamer would have played under Potter. Ostersons, I think, probably your best bet for a recognisable player. Correct. 100. So I spent quite a bit of time going, would anyone recognise a photo of Ken Seamer? You might recognise the name. Do you think you'd recognise his face? Choices. Too many centre-backs, reckons RJ. And Krez, and again, the FM23 version, playing without stars at the moment. Atlanta are winning 2-0, by the way. Interesting. And Adam, fair point. Yeah, so it was definitely a consideration there. So our first choice here hasn't played any minutes. We might as well just chuck that in, actually. That's a very simple filter we can pop on there. Stats, general, minutes, 1. Luka Kuitunen, 21-year-old. He is right-footed. He is 6'3". He's won 74% of his headers, 100% of his tackles. He wins possession. Not safe on the ball. That's something to be considering. Yeah. Not that progressive. So, yes, it's above the 50th percentile, but he's completing 67 passes. So he's only necessarily being progressive 6% of the time. 840 minutes isn't much, but this is definitely a promising option there. Good acceleration, not great pace, not great balance. So I like this kid. I like Luka Kuitunen. €275 a week. If it gets through to the point that his contract expires, I think we might be able to pick him up. That's what you get for cancelling the special one, says ACAB. Again, also fair. Roma doesn't have a great team this year, to be honest. I feel like Roma have been like stuck in Serie A purgatory for like the last 15 years of kind of just not quite being bad, but never being good enough either. So we know that the Superettan is loaded. Kevin Jablinski has played. That doesn't sound like a real name. Kevin Jablinski is the kind of like comedy name that you'd find in like an American buddy comedy. They'd be like, what's your name? It's like, I don't know, it's Kevin Jablinski. That's not real. Not real at all. He's Norwegian, he's 6'4". He's also right-footed, he's very much one-footed. He only wins 53% of his headers, which isn't good. He does win a lot of his tackles though. 686 minutes isn't great. He's not on the ball much, but is progressive with it. There's maybe a player in there. 28 years old, €550 per week. He is not someone I am overly enthusiastic by. That's to be said. Currently in a title race with Zagreb, says Louis. Unsurprisingly, disabled the first window, but I'm looking to focus on signing from the Balkan leagues around me. Sounds fantastic. Good luck with the first title race there, indeed. So bring back Francesco Totti, says RJ. I don't think it would take much to convince him. I'm sure he'd be back if he could be, like tomorrow. Tino Palmasto is at Japs. He is also right-footed, can play in both the fullback position, 6'4" again. He wins lots of minutes played, 2,228. 10 headers per game, 83% won. 71% tackles is okay. Good at wing possession. Reasonably progressive compared to the number of passes he makes. Wins a lot of headers, but not a single goal is quite incredible. He's very, very slow off the mark. Jumping, that kind of makes sense. Leadership, dives into tackles. So that might explain why his tackle win rate is about 71%. He's more likely to engage when the odds aren't necessarily in his favour. I'm not convinced that he's a particularly good player, but we can certainly keep an eye on him. So where did Japs finish? Japs finished in 5th, quite a way off the top. To shortlist, Brands Gronlund. I know someone from Orland with the surname Gronlund. So they're already starting off on a good foot there. 6'4" again, white-footed. Can just about play in the fullback positions. 78% header win rate. 82% tackle win rate is cool. Not on the ball at all. I expect that's going to be an issue. We can already see that his composure is very low. Very low. I don't like that. I don't like that he is truly rubbish at everything that involves controlling a ball. He might be the first player that we could sign that isn't even going to make a shortlist. So the Division 1 Sodra, we don't have that one. We can ignore that player. Division 1 Nordra, which I assume that is North and South. Justin Bakker is a Valkensliga player. He's a deep line playmaker. Where has he been playing? He's been playing as a centre-back. But he can play in midfield. That's flexibility, which would be nice. He's left-footed. He's only 6 foot. And he has only won 65% of his headers. 84% of his tackles, though, is quite good. Slightly better on the ball than some of these other players we've seen, which is cool. He's come up with a couple of goals as well. Tries long-range passes would be quite nice with how we are expansive. But his wages are likely to be prohibitive. But again, we can see if that drops if he doesn't find a club. He is slow. I'm getting some Robin Sid vibes here. Look at him. He looks like a pretty good player. In fact, he looks like a much better player than most players in this league, which makes me wonder why he's been stuck in defence. Odd, but we'll keep an eye on him. See if those wage requests is going to be lower once he's without a club. Gustav Thorn, 27 years old, right-footed, 6 foot. On the expensive side, 70% headers won, 84% tackles. He's able to carry, he's able to pass. Not the safest on the ball. Good profile physically and defending. That might be the most talented player we've seen yet. I very much doubt that it comes down. We can see that there's already interest in him. So if I do it from here. I've not heard of Kafar Slow, so maybe there's a chance, but I guess there's not. The surname is the only good thing, lol. Yes, it is, unfortunately, wasn't it? Don't give him the ball at all. Exactly. William Pertich. William Pertich is... Oh, I'm here to throw you some bits. Hey, Brazilian Fury, you are far too kind. Also responded accordingly over on your Patreon, which you all should sign up for if you're able to afford doing so. It's worth the price, friends. Bless you so much. All the love in the world to you, Brazilian. Are you planning on streaming at all this evening, or what is your schedule for this week? I'd love to know, because if you guys, I've been really rubbish at doing shout-outs. The one time that I've actually managed to stay on top of chat, I've been truly awful at doing shout-outs. So go give Brazilian a follow. No, have I done that wrong? No, I've done it right. But hey, I don't trust myself at all with any of these admin parts. Brazilian is a truly wonderful and lovely person. I also thank you for doing the advertising for Patreon for me, because I'm not very good at that. I feel awkward doing it, but I can do that. Will that work? That will do. Instead of me trying to push it and sell it, go and have a read of the README post there. And if that's something that you think that you'd be interested in, awesome. So William Pertich here, mid-price, can't win any headers, absolutely out, like 33% header one. Not bothering with that guy at all. This guy is striker in the off season, says Ravi Alfonso. That might be it. Let's have a look. No, he's played as a right back, apparently. No game time that we can really judge of. Finnish first division, we've got Valtteri Vesiaho, a central defender, 63% headers one. It's a little bit worrying. Again, not particularly good on the ball. I'm starting to be, now we've got quite a few players shortlisted, I feel a bit more comfortable being selective. So do we have the DPR Career League? We don't. So unfortunately, Ri Yong Chol, we are not going to be bringing, is he wearing a suit? He's wearing a suit, isn't he? That is not a footballer. That is definitely just a random North Korean businessman. Possibly a member of government. 37 caps. He is left-footed. He's 6'2". But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any proper data on him there. Mansour Sinyan. Only 107 minutes played for Ostersunds. Wage might be a little bit too high. He's played as a midfielder. We'll ignore that for the time being. Sign him for that, says Lestry. I mean, it would be fair. We did consider signing a player called Governor just because it's called Governor. It turned out he was really rubbish, and so that never happened. Which league is he? That's not a real league. No, that is a real league. That's not an active league, is what I mean. Alexander Forstrom. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. That is a man who has bodies hidden in a shed. Brazilian says, I think most of the North Korean guys either have suits or military clothing on profile photos, which, hey, fair game. I mean, to be fair, that is possible. He's a snooker player, reckons Tatsugiri. That does seem more plausible. That definitely seems more plausible. So Forstrom here played as a left back, centre back and a defensive midfielder. And that explains his profile. Doesn't win his headers, does win his tackles. He's progressive because he's largely been out on the left. Nothing stands out to me about Forstrom. He's scary. He is scary. Yeah, I suppose that is the one thing that stands out, is he is scary. So we have the Nordic Bet Liga. So Frederick Heldstrup could be a possibility. He's left-footed. He's far too expensive. He wins his headers. He wins his tackles. We don't know what positions he's been playing. He does not progress the ball whatsoever. 2.77 from only 35.8. That's not encouraging. But someone to keep an eye on potentially. Maybe that is a get in on trial player. Glenn Harvigan in the Post Nord League and Avda League 2. That's a no. The USL League 1. That's not a thing that we've got loaded. So we're looking for left wing backs. Accomplished left wing backs. 4 options, potentially no. Super Etten is plausible. This player is right-footed, which isn't necessarily that good. They're creative. They're not that dribbly. They win their tackles. They put pressures on. They don't win possession back. But hey, if they're putting the pressure on and someone else is winning it back, that's fine. They've got occasional goals as well, which is cool. It's a split time between the two. Right-footed has been better on the right. That makes sense. 575 might be on the high side, but certainly worth keeping an eye on. Andreasen, now this is a player who's left-footed, 600 euros per week. Has been playing as a wing-back. That is cool as well. And then we look here. Hasn't been as good on the expected assist front. Not as active pressuring, but slightly better at possession 1. Possession lost is okay. His flexibility is very, very interesting. Yes, so RJ, this guy plays everywhere. Exactly. That means we've got someone who could potentially play in central midfield, maybe even further forwards if needs be. There is something that could be useful there. From an attribute point of view, he can cross. He's decent pace, decent endurance. Fairly susceptible to injuries is a little bit of a concern. So on to the shortlist. If we can get him for that minimum of 275, then maybe it's worth bringing in someone who's a little bit injury prone. Otherwise, that's probably a no. So Arthur FM Burt, thank you very much for the follow. How are you doing this evening? I hope you're doing well. So Jussi Niska, 22 years old, left back. Been playing as a left back, occasionally in midfield. Not as creative for even more yet. Does pressure. Does win back the ball. Quite progressive. That's probably around 13% or so. It's called doesn't carry the ball much. Looks pretty solid from an attribute point of view. Decent physicals. Lack of determination is a concern, but good work rate and teamwork. Doesn't dribble, but can cross. Passing, I like the look of him. 400 euros per week. Maybe there's a chance there. How many teams are interested? Yarrow and TPS, so there is interest from other decent teams. That's the only concern. We've definitely got the Allsvenskan loaded. There we go. So barely played for Häcken. So no information to go on. That's not useful to us. Defensive midfielders. This is the bit we need. Adam Yuhi, 18 years old. No contract details whatsoever. Has played as a defensive midfielder where he's picked up some goals and assists. He doesn't do pressure, but he does sweep. Safe on the ball. He's able to carry. 81% of his tackles won. That's inconsistent. Can't pass. Lacks work rate and teamwork. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. Babus and Gar, we don't have that. We don't have South Korea either. Oscar Kilgren. Oscar Kilgren only played 250 odd minutes. Mainly in defensive midfield. I don't like the possession one for defensive midfielder. Or the possession lost. Expected assist is quite good. He is adaptable. He is consistent. Doesn't like big matches. That's not the main much of a concern. First point, 525. you know, we're going to need as every bit of help that we can get. So we'll consider him. Maybe that ends up being the best we're able to pick up. Ranera played as a defensive midfielder, occasionally as an attacking midfielder. So here we're looking, he's been better at winning back with the ball, bit loose on it. Doesn't make many tackles, but does win them. Pressures, doesn't carry the ball, so he's going to sit deeper. Maybe an alternative to Dahlstrom when Dahlstrom isn't there. Expected assist quite good, so more of a deep line playmaker type. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him. Yeah, the scouting budget is ridiculous. So I took over scouting. I gave it out to the chief scout. He went to do it. Got us 390k in the red. I then had to take over and just say, right, okay, no more scouting, because that's a large part of why we're in debt. It's very, very frustrating that the game. I don't know how they could. I have not sent a single scout out there. I haven't asked for reports on other players. That was just in the regular course of duty, which seems to be frustrating. Yes, he's spending it going to career, it seems. It doesn't need. So FM Burt says, not bad, good. So how am I? So I'm okay. I'm a little bit hoarse at the moment. Starting to feel the first strains of perhaps some kind of virus, but otherwise good. You know, these things they happen. Tio Asira didn't play much. Again, never generally a good sign. FC Hacker, when he did, 69% tackle win rate. I'm not having that from a ball winning midfielder. Not even remotely interested. Valtteri Vesiaho, who we looked at before. There he is as the defender. It's North Korean. Mansour Sinyan we ignored because he'd been playing as a midfielder. 100 minutes, that's just not anything to go on. Horstrom we've looked at before. So attacking midfielder is the other thing that we want. Anton Altonen, a Mazzala, a 20-year-old Mazzala, 1,200 minutes. Apparently 1,200 minutes, but only 4 games according to that. Not very dribbly, not very creative. It's doing okay from the possession side of things. Nothing really encouraging there about that, is there? Doesn't seem to be very good at any of the in-possession stuff, which you kind of want from an attacking midfielder, eh? Hadi Karim's on €575 a week, 27-year-old, been playing mainly off the left and who's been playing quite badly from the looks of things. Expected assists absolutely in the dirt. Doesn't get into shooting positions. Yeah, not interested in that at all. Emil Palace, the Palace cat. Everyone's favourite type of... what type of animal is a Palace cat? Is it a marsupial? Maybe? Who knows? Played off the right. Mainly probably as a traditional winger, you would guess. Okay, from a dribbly perspective, he's scoring more than his XG, which is something at least. Not the most wasteful on the ball for an attacking midfielder. That's not too bad. Not the greatest player we've ever seen, that's for sure. But 23 years old, maybe there's something there. We've looked at Ranera. We don't have those leagues. Michael Mork. Mork is a good name. 2,253 minutes, and look at this man. 6'3", wide target forward. This is the man that we want potentially. Played mainly as an attacking midfielder on the left. Here we go. He wins headers, 50% of them. 6'3". Gets into shooting positions, 2.48. Does score under his XG. Creates for others, 0.19. As a target forward, he's more dribbly than he is anything else. Doesn't lose the ball that much. Wins it back. Wins his tackles as well. I like this guy. This guy looks like he can play up front for us, but also potentially in that spot behind the striker as well. €425 per week. I like Michael Mork. Mork and Mindy. Central Asia, basically, in the stands. He is, and in the US too. Tatsugiri says it's a cat. It's a cat. Palace. Oh, right, yes. A palace cat. What is a palace cat? So a palace cat is, so it's also known as the manal. I don't think it's a cat. I don't think it's part of the... Oh, no, it is part of the feline family. I am wrong there. I thought it was one of those where it doesn't. Let me show you a palace cat for those that don't know what on earth I'm talking about and think I might just be losing my mind. It's a form of wild cat. I'm trying to find a photo first. There we go. Over to the browser. This is a palace cat. Otherwise, maybe you've heard of it called a manul. So it's a wild cat that lives out in, I think, kind of like the Caucasus. And it's kind of cool. It's also kind of deadly. But it's still a cat, and that means it's cute. That's ultimately you can't consider something like that to be dangerous because it looks like a cat, and it is a cat. But they're wonderful, and that is a good moment for us to go on a break, which is about 32 seconds away, which is perfect. And then we'll come back. We'll do some Only Connect. We'll then finish off looking at the last few couple of players that we've got potentially out there. Maybe another striker. We'll look at the other attacking midfield positions, and then we'll probably wrap it up for the night. So, FM Llama arrives just in time for cat pictures, a break. Welcome along, Llama. I'll see you guys, though, in a couple of seconds. Back. It is a final round of Only Connect. So, firstly, let's say hello to Llama properly. And because I am actually for once up on chat, I can even do this correctly. Go and give the man a follow if you aren't already. I can't imagine there's a single one of you in here on Twitch at least that isn't following already. Those of you over on YouTube, if you don't watch FM Llama, you absolutely should be. He's one of the absolute gentlemen of the community. A great enjoyable daytime stream, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Really worth checking out. And for those who are currently in chat that don't know what this thing on the screen is when we talk about Only Connect, let me explain the rules of what we're about to do now. We're playing a little game. You're going to see pictures of 4 footballers. They all have something in common. What that is, that's for you to guess. You will see one player after the other. And generally it starts with the more obscure, gets toward, as more pictures are revealed, it starts to become a little bit more obvious. But the earlier you can guess the clue, the more points you get. The more points you get, the higher up the leaderboard that's sitting somewhere like there you get. It is just for pride. Unfortunately, there is no other prizes, but pride is the greatest prize of all for sure. So let's crack on with it. Let's go to the first clue and see if anyone can work out what on earth is going on. Firstly, who is this guy? I would hope that most of you, I would expect that most of you can at least work out who this is. So Adam, straight in with Valderrama. It is indeed Valderrama. RJ is correct as well. Tatsugiri has come straight in with a, have they all had awesome perms? They haven't all had awesome perms, but that is an awesome perm. That is an incredible perm. So Lestry guesses, is it a FIFA cover? Again, that would be lovely. Have they all played in Miami, says FM Llama. That is a fabulous guess. It isn't right. It isn't right, I'm afraid, but it is a very good guess. Quez says, is it something to do with free kicks? It is not to do with free kicks, I'm afraid. It is not. Let's move on and see who the next person is. Let's see if that helps us at all. Is Llama, is it 4 players that never left the center circle? That would be awesome. That would be awesome indeed. So Adam is right again. He's in quick with the guesses, with the identifications tonight. It is indeed Bastian. Akab said it as well. Schweini or Bastian Schweinsteiger to give the full name. RJM was trying to say. Levi is correct. It is the most German name ever. Bastian Schweinsteiger. It's a satisfying name to say. It's got a real, it's got the smoothness of the Schwein with the harshness of the Steiger. Beautiful. So have they all scored against Brazil in a World Cup? That's not the connection. I can tell you that much. But so it's plausible. I certainly wouldn't put that beyond the possibility. It would require at least one of those players to have done something extraordinary to achieve that. So Evan Burt, have they all played in multiple World Cups? Almost certainly. That's not the connection we're looking for. We will that unfortunately is, you're going to get that with a lot of players. But that is a fine guess. Lestry has asked whether they've all retired in the MLS. And one thing I would say is that with Only Connect, being able to get it on 3 points is quite impressive. It is quite impressive. And that is why Lestry is quite impressive. How your brain is working at this time in the morning, I don't know. But the next player you see was Kaka. Now it's possible he might have scored an own goal, Tatsugiri, so could have scored against Brazil in a World Cup, just unintentionally. The final player was Thierry Henry. So I'd originally thought that we put Ibrahimovic in here or Beckham in here, but they never actually retired whilst at an American club. All 4 of these guys, stateside retirement, as it says there. Valderrama at the Colorado Rapids, Schweinsteiger at the Chicago Fire, at Orlando City, and Thierry Henry at the New York Red Bulls. A fabulous 3 points, Lestry. Some great guessing there. Well done, sir. So, RJ says, TT indeed, TT indeed. Gotta love a bit of Thierry Henry. So we're just going to go through, see if we can find the last couple of targets, and then we'll wrap things up for this evening. So, huge thank you. Now, with the attacking midfielders, I'm quite happy to look at guys that play maybe off the wing and look at retraining them. Granted, that hasn't worked out all that well with Adam Larsson, but, you know, just because it hasn't worked before doesn't mean it can't work again. Jacob Johansson here is more comfortable as a striker. 5'11", he's on a large-ish wage. It looks like a striker's pizza chart, but maybe not. If we go for a strikers, he's scored under his XG, not getting that many chances, he's quite creative. If he's actually been playing as an attacking midfielder, he's still not particularly creative, but his goal scoring looks better. So not really enough information to go on there. I don't think that we're going to consider him for that reason. We're a little bit blind. The Avdeling 6, too low down. The Allsvenskan is loaded. So Ibrahim Diabita is considered as a striker. He's played as a striker, 8 games, 1 goal. But actually 13 games, 1 goal. He's not... Okay, so he's not been good as a poacher. He's really good at dribbling with the ball. So he's obviously being asked to do a role that isn't the poacher role, I would guess from that. Sorry, just bear in one moment. So, we've got a chat message held. Henry has got to be one of the coolest and most suave MFers football has ever seen. Let's approve that for you. Look, no pants. He was a very, very good player. So inside forward, maybe. Indeed, there is that possibility as well. So he dribbles. Dribbling is good. He's not that creative. That's not so good. And we can see, yeah, I don't think he's the profile that we're looking for who could play from a deeper position. Did we look at Rockman already? I don't think Rockman came up. He can play as an attacking midfielder, but not that much. He has mainly played in that strata behind. So we look here, he didn't score. He's barely getting shots off, which is a concern. But maybe as a more creative player, expected assists there is quite good. He comes deeper, he gets more involved, which is something to be encouraged by. Doesn't really help out of possession. Injury prone, inconsistent. Not necessarily the greatest player out there, but someone that he's young. Maybe there is some hope in there from him. And then strikers. Smirk pick. It is a smirk pick. That is a fine smirk from Daniel Rockman. Any players off the right that... And also we've got another... Okay, let's do it in order. Nordic Bet, we've got that loaded. Anders Holved, 34-year-old. That'd be some experience. We are sorely lacking experience. I assume he's played as a striker. No, maybe not. Maybe not with those kind of stats. 6'1". Might have been playing as a right midfielder. So again, he's another in-betweener. So we'll look here. Scores considerably under his XG. He is quite creative. He's okay at dribbling. Doesn't win many headers for a guy who's 6'1". Again, we will treat that as not enough information to really judge. Jakob Hjelter, listed as a target forward, has played off the wing, hasn't played enough minutes. But we've got a lot of knowledge on him. Nothing really that encouraging. High wages, unlikely to be a consideration for us. But we will keep an eye just again. If those wage demands come down, maybe we get them in on trial and we see if that's anything plausible. Okko Nianen. Again, didn't play many minutes. Apparently played 14 games. I don't understand why. Just confusing. But 135 minutes, you can't really judge off that. This here, though, it does suggest that he looks a little bit like some okay physical bits, some okay bits there. Reminds me a little bit of Willie. And we've already got one Willie. We don't need another Willie. I mean, that's just being selfish. Who has 2 Willies? We've seen that one. We've seen Diabite. Jibril Boyang. Boyang Horseman. I like the sound of Boyang. Where has he been playing? We don't know where he's been playing. 2,340 minutes, some goals and some assists. Probably count cup games, the other doesn't. So this, they both, this should count everything. And that's sometimes coming up with more games. That's the bits. Maybe it counts friendlies and non-competitive games as well. That weird, just weird. ACAB, I'll quote you on that. That's fair. Good night, Adam. Lovely to see you. Thank you very much for dropping in, and hopefully be back on Wednesday, and I'll see you then, sir. I like the look of this. So we don't know where he's played, but that looks like a winger to me. Good at dribbling, creating chances, scores under his XG, but he's getting into shooting positions. His pressures are too low for a winger though, so maybe he's been playing as a striker. So you compare that to an attacking midfielder, it's basically none whatsoever. 300 euros per week. Definitely a candidate to offer a trial to, potentially. Whether a Norwegian would come all the way over to us, I don't know, but it's not that much of a trek. Not that much. Just across Sweden all the way to us. All for the chance of earning like 200 euros a week. That's reasonable to expect, right? And then what have we got in terms of striker options? So we've looked at Holvad. We looked at Johansson, did we? Yes, we did look at Johansson. We looked at Neonen. We've looked at another North Korean coming in there. Chinese non-league clubs. Okay, Dalian are now a non-league club. There we go. I didn't expect that. We've got Nicholas Mortensen here at 725 euros a week. He's a target forward, but he can play behind the striker. He hasn't, though. He's played up front. Because he's played up front, we can look at this. He's not been very good from a shot creation element, but he is creating. From a shot-taking element, he is creating. He is scoring above his XG. He doesn't win headers because he might be a target forward, but he's 5'11". He's safe on the ball. I think that could be an interesting option, potentially. So we've got some options there. So what level of transfer interest have you chosen? I've just left it on default, I must confess. Realistically, I don't want it to be lower than that because we're hoping that when these guys' contracts expire, we can get them at the very, very lowest price. If you start, when we look at players who maybe potentially, well, there isn't anyone who's uninterested or doubtful there. Whereas that's the normal point. They tend to want more money to join a team if they're less keen on it. So it's going to potentially be completely and utterly beyond our budget if we go below interested. So I think we've got some players that are worth keeping an eye on. There is, I really like the look of Marcus Freud. That would be a real boon if we could bring him in. We've got Per Edlund to back him up and sell Riikonen. We've got a couple of options here. Centre backs, hopefully one or two of them we can bring in. Left wing back, the options aren't necessarily so great, and that's an area that we really do need. And defensive midfield, we've only got a couple of options here. So we do have Renera that can play higher up as well. That looks like, I think defensive midfield, we're going to definitely have to look at loans there to try and bulk that out. I think that we don't really have many players. Where's that? Who was that Mork guy? Mork. He's only appearing currently as a left midfielder. Mork I like the look of as a attacking midfielder, but I think attacking midfield is an area we're going to need to look at loans as well. But ideally, the more players we can actually have under contract and under control, and we can kind of have some form of long-term planning with our squad, the better we're going to be. So if we can max out and maybe only 2, 3, maybe 4 loans, that would certainly be better. So got to put the money to convince them. Exactly. So fair. My logic was if it was lower, then it would include those who are likely now, not while I'm employed, but now I'm desperate, so sure. That's true, and that's fair. We're probably going to end up. I imagine is what always tends to happen is when I shortlist players is that I end up signing none of them because they all get swooped up. As soon as I put them on my shortlist, other teams get interested and they all get swooped up. So we'll end up finding those players in our thing anyway, those that will eventually change their minds. So cool. Woobert, by the way, thank you very much for the follow. I think that is where we are going to wrap things up tonight. We made it to 3.5 hours, which I'm generally quite shocked by. So thank you very, very much for coming along. I'd like to say, so guys over on YouTube, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We'll be back on Wednesday evening. I'm going to end the YouTube stream first so that I can then head on over and we can raid out over on Twitch. So it's lovely having you guys in, and we'll see you